Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome to Filmography, the show where the points aren't real and nothing matters. No, that's the wrong one. Hi, how's it going, guys? How are we doing? I hear someone coming up the stairs. Hey! How's it going, man?
Hey, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. We are live. Lover had to fill his Jeff Rip dummy full of straw. Yeah, Jeff died again. Are you hip to this meme joke that you died?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Guess what, guys? I'm alive.
I'm not going.
I'm mostly alive.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Hey.
How's it going? Yeah.
I feel better today. Yeah.
That's good.
I'm writing a movie, guys, and guess what? When writing isn't going well,
Oh yeah.
it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's real dumb.
Yeah. No, I got you.
But today was a good day.
I remember when I used to write. I'm trying to get back to where you are, where I can feel dumb about something that I'm doing.
Right, you can feel dumb any
That
time
is true.
you want.
It is America. And I have so many things to feel dumb about. Hey, man.
Hey, buddy.
Good to see you. Usually we have like a nice half-hour catch-up before we see you guys, which is why we're always half an hour late. This time we're half an hour late, but we're just seeing each other for the first time in a week. So, so this is weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
No,
I told him I was like, hey, I'm just down the street. I can be there anytime. I'll probably be there really early this time.
Yeah,
And
I
then
was
I
like,
showed up at 7:15.
Hey, man.
And then I was downstairs for another 15.
Yeah, because many members of our household are very fond of Jeff, and everybody's got to catch up. Everybody's got to catch up.
That's the main reason I come here. Is just I walk in, your dogs greet me.
Yeah.
Your wife greets me. Your
Yeah.
daughter greets me,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
My dogs greet you again, which
My
is
dogs greet
which
me.
is to go death. Wait,
pets.
We know that guy.
Pets.
Like, oh, it's Jeff. Hey, Jeff. Death. It's just, and then, I mean, it's just, that's what, I mean, I
They
come.
did it a third time. Like
This is-
I went into the kitchen
Yeah.
and then I came back into
Yeah.
the living room and they were like, who are you?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm here.
Bless them.
For 7 days.
If I pet them and go upstairs and go to the bathroom
Uh-huh.
and spend half an hour, which is not rare.
No judgments. I'll often spend 45 to an hour
Yeah.
just hanging out in the bathroom.
Yeah, we get a lot of fist bumps this time. By the way, I got some real bad farts coming up. Coming up next on Filmography, a lot of farts. But yeah, I'll go upstairs and whatever, and then I'll come downstairs and they're like, who? What?
So
Who
they
is
do
it?
it to
Who
you?
is it? Constantly. And I go, I was downstairs 30 minutes ago. Not to mention, I've lived with you most of your life. And they go, but never trust. Who knows? Have you seen The Thing?
Do they do it to Akasha?
They do.
Or
not
your daughter?
They don't do it to her. They do it when there's any sort of noise.
They straight up, when I walked in the door,
Yeah.
were jumping like really high
Yeah,
this
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And Aurora was right next
They're
to
going
me.
for your neck.
And one of them, I think Pop, he jumped up and then he bounced off me and then he just knocked your daughter back like 2 steps.
Goodness gracious.
She was unfazed.
I love you, puppies. Yeah, I know. She's like, they do that.
Yeah.
We're just raising her.
They're also
with,
the size of
yeah,
her.
yeah.
So it's-
We're raising her with bears. Bears with with no attention span. I mean, no memory.
yeah.
They go, who? Where am I? What happened?
I like your hair.
Thanks.
Is this?
Yeah. I think. Hold on. Logo, you look like you lost about 3 inches of hide off your hair. What happened, bro? You just take a shower or something? I did put some water in it.
Yeah, you look.
For some reason. I think I looked at myself in the mirror, which is rare, and then as you can tell, and there are not a lot of reflective surfaces. What's that from? There's not a lot of reflective surfaces in the. I can't. What is that from? Gosh darn it! I love it. Anyway, Richard Grieco.
Yeah.
Levels.
I was gonna say. I was like,
Yeah.
did you say I want to look like Andy Garcia for
Yes.
this stream?
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is a super
Yeah.
compliment.
Yeah. Things to
handsome
do
man?
in Denver when you're dead.
Never seen it.
Not me either, but it's just the prime Andy Garcia cut for some reason for me. Not Godfather 3. Not When a Man Loves a Woman.
I've seen him in.
Not City by the. Not City by the Sea.
I've seen him in Ocean's 11.
Yeah, Ocean's 11.
Godfather 3.
Yeah. You know, all the other Andy Garcia. Andy Garcia.
Yeah. Is he Italian in any way?
I would not imagine so. Garcia is. He's
Yeah.
Cuban.
He's Cuban.
He's a Cuban.
But in Godfather
Cuban
3, he's a.
Oh yeah.
He is Italian.
I believe so. I've not seen Godfather Part 2.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm
It's
assuming,
really not as bad as everyone says.
I'm assuming it's a mild version of the. You like not wide, so you're Italian.
That's yeah.
That goes like a version of that of what goes on, a very very mild version of what goes on in Scarface, where they take a bunch of Italian dudes and paint them orange and go, you're all Cuban. And who knows why? Yeah, Robert Loggia is a Cuban dude.
My God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Robert Loggia.
Yeah.
How many generals do you think he's played in movies?
Probably a lot.
I feel like I've seen him in that role. Was he in Crimson Tide?
He was definitely in Necessary Roughness. The Scott Bakula, Kathy Ireland, fantastic football
What?
comedy. Oh yeah.
Kathy Ireland.
She's a place kicker. Yeah. You didn't.
What?
I you didn't have to go like, who's Kathy Ireland again? We're all just like.
No, yeah. Kathy Ireland was a big crush for me.
Well, I just meant I thought you were just a large fan of her high quality home furnishing line. Yeah.
I think it's Sports Illustrated
Class.
furniture, and then you get like one movie. Like Cindy Crawford did Fair Game, which we absolutely need to do.
So I've never seen Fair
Oh,
Game.
it's
I can
amazing.
like I know that cover like
Yeah.
in my brain, like I can draw it.
I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it because I thought it looked cool. I saw the trailer for it like way when I
Look
was
cool
younger.
or like
No, like I thought it looked because
'cause, like-
there's a shot in the trailer when not Alec Baldwin is jumping into the water, firing a gun sideways, or maybe he's being blown into the water sideways.
it's Billy Baldwin.
Either way,
Is it Steven? It's Billy. No, it's Steven.
Billy.
It's Billy?
Yeah, it's not Steven,
It's not Steven. It's Billy. It's Biodome Billy Baldwin.
but he's like super serious.
Yeah. I really am going to call him, from now on, I'm going to call him Biodome Billy Baldwin, which is similar to Bayou Billy. Yeah, so Fair Game is cool?
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite movies.
That's cool. Have you like unrelated? You've gotten not a lot of sleep this week, right? It's just okay. All right, Fair Game's probably great. Who directed Fair
You know
Game?
why I didn't get a lot of sleep? I was up for 36 hours yesterday.
Oh gosh.
And,
Here we go.
I watched Fair Game like 6 times.
Yeah, and Princess Mononoke once, and then more Fair Game. A
Dude,
Fair
this
Game
movie
sandwich.
that we're about to talk about,
Fair
I
Game.
fucking loved it.
Yeah.
This is my favorite
This
one.
is it.
Yeah.
Well, what a strong ending. What a strong close of the
This
series.
one really got me. It moved me
Uh-huh.
many times.
Uh-huh.
The music
Yeah.
was
Fan just really
unbelievable.
agreed.
The animation, fantastic.
Yep.
The brutality of it, surprising.
Exquisite.
Yeah. When he shot a dude's head off,
Yeah!
I was like,
whoa!
what?
Oh yeah, I can't. I really want to get into my. Did I not bring? Oh, where is it? Oh gosh, where's my phone? Oh, I'm lost. Oh no, there it is. Perfect. Everything's fine. Spork! Spork! Thank you for 23 months in a row. Thank you so freaking much, Spork. Are you here to talk Miyazaki?
Oh, hey,
I hope you are.
Favorite animated film of all time.
Oh, hey! It's your favorite? You're talking about Gremlins? You're talking about Princess Mononoke. All right, let's hold on a second. Hold on a second. Y'all seen Accidental Hero with Garcia and Hoffman? I thought that was just called Hero. Is it called Accidental? Is it called Accidental Hero in Australia, but called Hero here? That is mildly exciting to me. Jeff going with the no hat glasses hanging off the collar look. I also dig that.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a hat.
Oh, hey, Allie. Yeah. You got to mix it up.
Yeah.
This
I
is
feel
you know,
nude without it.
I totally understand that. Also, you have no pants on. But here's the other thing. And he
Princess Mononoke.
is happy about this movie. This is so that when they make, this is so they can make the action figure variant of you with no head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then when Hot Toys makes an action figure, it's 2 different heads they can plug in.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want a lot of accessories.
Yeah.
For my action figure.
Uh-huh.
Cap with a B on it.
Totally.
Sunglasses.
Boom.
Converse.
Yeah.
I want my shoes to be taken off and on. That's
Yeah.
a Hot Toys thing.
That is
That's more of a doll. I want to be a doll.
A fashion doll, a high fashion doll, because that's appropriate. Richard Grieco's office all the charts. Yes, Godfather 3 is decent. Andy Garcia's pretty awesome. He's Sonny's kid. Yeah, hot-headed bastard. Did you? Oh, he's Sonny's kid. Oh, right. That's right.
What?
Did you see the Family Guy? Yeah.
I've only seen Godfather 3
Yeah.
once.
We need to do it we need to do it. We need to do.
We need to do the third movies that aren't.
Yeah. Or we need to do a series of sequels that are are they really as bad as people say?
Yeah, because
I think Godfather 3 is decent, and people
I
just
think it
really,
is decent.
really rag on
people
Sofia
rag on
Coppola.
Sofia Coppola in that movie,
which I gotta
she's
see.
not that bad in it.
Yeah.
Because everyone shits on Back to the Future 3.
Oh, that's
And Back to the Future 3 is amazing.
That's objectively wrong.
It is objectively wrong.
Sorry.
It's frankly,
Sure.
if we're talking just on a narrative level, it's better than Back to the Future 2.
Wait, which one? It's better than
2.
But is it okay? But so on a narrative level, but how about on a hoverboard level?
I mean, you could argue that because there's 2
Hoverboard
pretty
scenes
good
in the third one?
hoverboard scenes
Yeah, that's
in
a fair
it.
point. It's a fair point. It's been a long time. That's the one I've seen the least.
That's one I've seen the most because I owned it, and I for whatever reason that's just the one I've seen a lot.
So it's your Temple of Doom for me, because Temple of Doom is the one that I saw the most and love.
And I love Back to the Future too.
Yeah, of course.
Because hoverboards, jacket.
Yeah.
Jacket's now drying.
Like on a, I would say maybe not a weekly basis, but nearly a weekly basis, my wife will find an occasion to go, keep it. I got a pit bull, which is proof that I married.
I got a pit bull now.
Yeah. I married the exact right woman.
You did.
Loeb hasn't seen Godfather 3, but he's up to date on Kathy Ireland's filmography. Hey, I mentioned one Kathy Ireland film.
Is there more than one?
But here's the thing. You reminded me that Cindy Crawford. This is going to sound terrible. You reminded me that Cindy Crawford and Kathy Ireland are in fact 2 distinct people.
That's right.
Yeah, I was like, oh right.
I never. Okay, did you have growing up a favorite supermodel? That's a weird thing to say.
No, it's not.
I wasn't like.
It's not a weird thing to say. It's a weird thing to admit to in mixed company. It's not a weird thing to say. I definitely had a crush on a crush. I just admired from afar. I was a child. I was a scared child, and I was like, this woman is beautiful. I liked Stephanie Seymour. You know who that is?
Mm-mm.
So she's Axl Rose's girlfriend in November Rain.
Oh, pull her up.
Oh my gosh! Well, everyone knows, but she was a sports. All right, go for it. There was a time when I worked at a place. This is weird, where somehow this came into something like there was someone who was speaking, who was mentioning something because in some sort of context, this is the worst way to tell a story. Stephanie Seymour came up and she was like, and I was working at a school and this other teacher was like something, and this formal model did this something, and her name I think was Stephanie Seymour, or her name was Jane Seymour, and then I somehow knew who she was talking about, and I was like, oh, it's not Jane Seymour, she's talking about Stephanie Seymour. But then this other guy was kind of arguing. It was like it's Jane Seymour. Or he was like, it's Stephanie Seymour. She goes, I know who it is. It's Jane Seymour. And I was like, Jane Seymour is a formal model, but she's Dr. Quinn medicine woman. You mean Stephanie Seymour? But I didn't correct them.
And are you sure? And you're like, talk to my boner.
But it was a thing where I kind of didn't want to be like, it's definitely Stephanie Seymour.
Trust me.
No reason. I'm an adult male teacher at a school, and I don't want to
hear November Rain blasting from the bathroom for hours at a time.
I also had a. So if we're talking specifically like Sports Illustrated swimsuit models or whatever.
Yeah, which is a narrow thing. I never.
Yeah, I think I had crushes
Sports Illustrated or anything
yeah.
like that. So I was always like, oh yeah, I just remember seeing Kathy Ireland being like,
yeah.
Boy?
I think I was like, yeah. Well, see, I feel like my crushes when I was a child, as we've spoken, were like Gadget from Rescue Rangers.
Yeah.
Is that cool? That's a good way to go with it.
Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly,
Yeah. Yeah. Rocketeer. Jennifer
Later
Connelly,
on,
yeah.
this is great. This is good. I think this is a good start to the very empowered, unsexist female epic. Female-centric epic, Princess Mononoke. We're like, what did you like? Who did you like? I had a very big crush on the Noxzema girl, who's Rebecca Gayheart. You remember Rebecca from Urban Legend?
Yeah.
But yeah, we've spoken about Jennifer Connelly and Rocketeer. I was like, I'm confused, and I don't know why, but I really like when she's on screen. Yeah.
You know, I was reading about the Rocketeer the other day, as I'm wont to do, and they said I was so disappointed to hear that like there have been talks to reboot it and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I was only disappointed because I've always thought I have no interest in ever making big major budget type movies. Just seems like too much of a headache. Except Rocketeer. And I wanted to do I would do like a big third act scene. The hard thing is like you don't want to repeat what they already did because I'm like you want to end it with a Zeppelin every time.
Start with the last Zeppelin crashing, and then bookend it with another Zeppelin.
I mean,
kind of do the old Kiki's Delivery Service. You know what I'm saying?
But I want to end it in like a massive like lightning thunderstorm thing. I don't know, I can see it in my head.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. It's hard not to picture it with a Zeppelin though.
You know, this is gonna be one of those actor things, but one of the greatest spontaneous compliments I've ever seen in my entire life. Speaking to a DP and a friend, and I was speaking passionately about the Rocketeer, as I am wont to do when I speak of the Rocketeer. And he took a moment. He said, "You know, if he's like, he'd be a good rebooted Rocketeer." And I was like, "Come on, Al. Yeah, I know you had to say."
You would.
No, hold on.
You
hold
got
on,
the
hold
hair.
On. Don't.
You got the
don't,
chiseled jaw.
Dude. Chiseled. Now that is an out and out lie, and I appreciate it.
I'm telling you. You could do it. And
look,
you would look good. We just give your hair a little bit of a curl.
I just.
You would look good in this, in like whatever the flight jacket.
I would fill out. I would properly fill out a Rocketeer jacket that was this big exactly. Let's just say that. No, here's. So not in no way did I believe that, but it was the greatest compliment I've ever received.
I agree with that. You got a little Billy Campbell.
Oh, come on. I will be Billy Campbell in the Enough reboot.
What?
No, that's actually not a good thing.
The Jennifer Lopez.
That's where he's like an abusive husband to Jennifer Lopez. I shouldn't have gone there at all. It's not a good idea.
I love. It's like what do you want to title this movie? Something catchy. I don't know. I've had about enough. What'd you say?
What about
Damn it, that's good.
What about oh man, no, never mind. This is not fertile ground for jokes. Let's just I was like trying to think of bad titles for movies about an abusive relationship, and then I was like, and thankfully sometimes my brain goes, shut up, shut your stupid mouth, right now, shut up. Shut up. It just goes everybody out of the way, everybody out of the way. It's like a lifeguard on a pool, and he's like, son of a bitch, he's going for what? So every once in a while it works out. And it goes, hey, let's not.
The sequel, Get Me a Beer, like.
Well, that's good and mild, And then, so like imagine bad titles being lobbed. He's like, enough, I gotta think, and then same joke.
You just did my joke.
I know, same thing. But I mean, like.
But that's how they came up with the title.
That's exactly right.
Like one guy said it. And they're like, no, that's enough out of you. And then they're like, wait
a second.
Tim!
And he goes, I just said enough. Oh my gosh. And he's like, that's not offensive enough. What did you say? Yeah. Anyway, I felt like we would get to enough at some point in our Miyazaki filmography discussion. PSH in Punch Drunk Love. Shut up. That's that. And I go, but it can still work. And my brain goes, what did I just say? And I go, that's that. We're not gonna.
My favorite part of that movie, and I love that movie.
Punch Drunk.
But it's the advertisement.
Oh yeah,
they did for it.
Falls off and
they mimic to a T. Like, I mean, it's crazy how well they redid it.
Because it's an actual.
Yeah. Because at the Draft House, They
Oh,
did.
that's awesome.
You know, they played them side by side,
Yeah.
and it's like, I mean, even the way he falls and the timing of it almost lines up perfectly. And what?
And is that a thing?
It's what
Where
he says
falls,
after, and he really does it.
and he wheezes.
And he falls, and he's like, "Oh man, I thought." He picks up his guitar. It's like playing guitar. He jumps on the mattress. He immediately falls off like a pretty.
What do you
know,
mean he really does it?
He really does it.
That's not an effect. That's not a plate. That's not an effect.
No, he did it.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Because they shot it on like a handy cam.
Yeah, but I thought that was part of the. He fell off of like a, what was it, like a
It was
storage
like seven,
container?
It was
or
like
something?
7 match. He jumps from
Oh
the roof.
yeah, and bounces off.
And then there's a car, or like I think a car, and then on top of the car are like 7 mattresses, and he jumps from the roof onto the mattresses and immediately bounces off onto the
right.
pavement.
Yeah. Goodness gracious.
He's like, oh, I thought that would work. I thought that would work. Did you get it though? Did it
Yeah,
look
yeah,
good?
yeah. Is it one of those things? Am I conflating two different viral accident videos, or is that one of those ones where he's like
That's the grape.
that is definitely
That's
the grape one, which is
yeah.
the
I don't think he wheezes it
okay.
at a lot. It's just funny how he gets up.
yeah.
He's like, oh man, I just thought.
Yeah.
I can't. He says something so funny when he gets up that really makes the entire thing, which is why it can't be fake.
Right.
Because the way he falls, it's so specific. Unless it's the best animation job I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah.
Is it? I just can't believe that they man, let
But he seems like the type of guy.
Oscar
I'm
now.
doing it. I'm doing
Yeah. Goodness. Hello again. How is y'all? What's up, Scorp? Sigourney Weaver made that shot, and that's definitely true. And then Philip Seymour Hoffman, who was like, "Oh, I fell off some mattresses, so I don't."
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, you need to work that up, right? Like a PSH.
It's just gonna be sad every time.
I don't know.
It's that guy.
Hey, did I tell you this will make you laugh? I have to do a walking impression in the party. Be a walking impersonator in the party.
Really?
Yes.
You're gonna be a walking person
Yeah.
at an upcoming party?
At a real party.
Can I come to this party?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna come.
Because I made it up. WC was going to be there. Chuck Connolly's going to be there. You see the Rocketeer. Yeah. But that's weird because it's never happened before. Besides the time that happened, it was a terrible idea.
You're gonna do so great at that.
I'm going to do
You're
very...
gonna get pigeonholed real quickly
Yeah.
as the walking guy.
I hope so.
You're gonna make a lot of money doing it.
No, I'm not. But that will be cool. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about cool. Okay, here's the question. Ferrari Testarossa or Lamborghini Countach?
Countach.
I don't know what the second one is.
That's a car.
There you go.
Oh, I guess they're both cars.
I thought we were talking about pasta. Ferrari Testarossa.
I don't know what that looks like. I've seen a Countach on
It's a
It's Always
red
Sunny
one?
in Philadelphia, but it looks...
Cool.
It's like the supreme 80s for Lamborghini, you know? All angles. The
Yes. Yeah, where it's
Back
like a
to the
very
Future
sharp.
doors.
It looks like a.
It looks like a toy car.
Looks like anime.
Yeah. It's cool though.
Did you see what I did?
It looks like it's animated.
Fire. Hey, yo, Miyazaki. That's not.
Did
Hey,
you like this movie? Let's talk about it.
So let's talk about it. Hey, Lobo, I'm throwing a party. Want to be the walk-in impersonator? Yes. Maybe. Lobo, are you going to TwitchCon this year? Sorry, I was going to answer that. I don't think so. Is it coming up? Yeah, I mean, it is coming up in October. I didn't go last year, even though I really would have liked to. I didn't go because I wanted to spend, I don't know, because certain things, and I wanted to spend my birthday with my family and stuff. I may not go this year for other reasons. Last week in September. I don't know. Are you gonna go? I don't know. It's the Cannonball Run Lambo. Oh.
If you don't go to that, you should come with me to MondoCon.
Yo! All right, we're going to MondoCon.
Sorry, guys. I'm taking them to MondoCon.
You should go to TwitchCon as Mark Ruffalo. Yep. And I'll be like, hi, guys, I'm Mark Ruffalo. Some of my friends sometimes go, you look a lot like Mark Ruffalo. And I go, I don't think so. And then,
It's like,
so
it
then I
doesn't-
showed up.
When you told me that story, I was just like, it doesn't matter how good your like, you could have the most spot-on Mark Ruffalo impression
Which
ever,
I do not.
and everyone would still not understand who you are.
Because they were, yeah.
'Cause it's just not,
Yeah.
it's not exactly, he does not exaggerate it enough
Yeah.
in any way.
Yeah, I tried to look, because that's another one where you can't, like, because there's some where you go like, well, you just say all the signature lines. I love Mark Ruffalo. Part of the reason that I love Mark Ruffalo is he does not do films in general, except for the Marvel ones, where you end up with signature lines, even the Marvel ones.
He's just constantly, you gotta sit like this,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just go like this.
Yeah.
He's changing the pattern. He's changing the pattern.
Is that a...
It's from Zodiac.
Oh.
He
Ah!
uses his hands a lot.
Oh, really?
I really love it.
Oh, that's cool.
But I always remember that line where he's sitting like this and he's gone. He's changing the pattern.
Because like the most signature like the most distinct, like, oh, you're trying to look like Mark Ruffalo thing that you could do is like try to look like him in Collateral, right? Because that's a very
You kind of look like Mark
specific...
Ruffalo in Collateral right now.
Okay.
Is that what you were trying to do when you were looking in the mirror?
I mean, no, but not that.
You miss not having Michael Mann month anymore? You want to read? We should watch The Insider again.
Yeah, I'll just skip part of it.
No.
And it is great.
We should do a 4-hour review of the opening 5 minutes of that movie.
I thought we did that. Mark Ruffalo is indeed in Collateral. We watched Collateral on the stream. I mean, not on the stream. We talked about Collateral. Why, Jeff? Because he's Hispanic? Is that why he looks like Collateral Ruffalo? Are you saying that? Hey, man, that's not cool. You're insulting half of me.
I'm just saying that's what he looks like.
Now, here's the thing.
And he looks like Mark Ruffalo, and he looks Hispanic.
Now, here's the thing. So I'm half Hispanic. And I say you're insulting half of me. Are you insulting the Hispanic half because the Hispanic half is taken aback that you're making generalizations about Hispanic people? Or are you insulting the white half, which is racist and does not like to be called Hispanic? I'm not racist. Gosh darn it. Hold on. Let's get
Hispanic?
at it. Hold on. I can say
this is where I'm at. I think we've talked about this before.
I can say Hispanic because I'm Hispanic.
You can, but can I?
No, you can't say anything.
I don't know.
You can't say anything.
I asked him before. I was like,
go ahead.
Can I?
Lay it on.
Because someone told me, or no, someone told me. It's like you can't really say that anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like,
what? I've heard that as well.
I was like, I thought that was like the preferred nomenclature.
Yeah.
But no. And then they're like, no, it's Mexican. I was like, okay.
Well, if you were to call a Mexican person Mexican,
yeah,
that's fine.
Right. But you're not.
Yeah, that is illegal. If you say I'm from the wrong country, that's illegal.
I can go to jail for that?
You can go to jail.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Now, hold on a second. Hey, go ahead. Lay it on me, buddy. What would you call me?
Very uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, I know, of course. When you talk about me to your friends.
Oh, when I reference like who's one of your good friends? I'm like, well, it's that Hispanic fella.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was gonna say.
That Mexican
when you say
fella.
that half what would you say? This is terrible. This is the only time I ever get to do this.
Because you're from Puerto Rico.
Wait, is that hold on 1 second.
Wait,
let's stop the music. Let's stop the music because I need to find this out. Hold on, no, this is an important thing for me to know. Hold on a second. One second. Okay.
Wait,
hold on a second.
I thought.
Hold on a second. My father. Okay, here we go. No, this is good. This is good. This is like one of those how well do you know your friend quizzes.
He stopped the music. It makes it worse.
Here we go.
He paused the music so he could dig in.
Hold on a second. So on a multiple choice,
okay.
My father was born in which country?
Okay.
Puerto Rico. Costa Rica.
Okay.
Côte d'Azur.
I blew it.
Hold on.
And you know why I blew it? Because I guess I'm racist. Because I knew.
Okay.
I knew it was 2 words.
Yeah.
And they both sound very Hispanic.
All right, that's good. It's good. All right, that's good. All right. Or C.
I looked at him so earnestly. He's like, "Cause you're from, Puerto Rico."
And then I went, huh? And he goes, huh? I never get to do this. I never get to make someone twist in the wind. It's terrible. And, okay. But here's the other thing. Okay, so Puerto Rico. Costa Rica.
Yeah. Do I have to say it like that?
You please.
But if I say it like that, is that offensive?
Yes.
So there's no winning.
Exactly. Okay. Côte d'Azur. Or answer D. Not from here.
I want to say D so bad. Okay, so it's Costa Rica. I'm sorry. Now
Okay.
to flip it back on you, when I said Puerto Rico, you were like, "How dare you?" but it wasn't in like, how dare you not know the difference.
How
it
dare
was
you,
like, how dare you associate me with Puerto Ricans.
All right.
This is making me sweat.
Oh my gosh. Let's make sure. Let's make sure that everyone knows that we are kidding. I am indeed half Costa Rican, half what? I'm not looking at you like pointedly.
I'm not even looking at you in the eye anymore. I'm looking at your ear.
But
when you say white, though,
but if we're
like,
Costa Rican,
what kind of white person?
what?
So you're D.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what kind of white person you are?
They're all,
Have you ever done that ancestry?
You say incest?
Good night, everybody! That ancestry DNA.
This has gone well. Princess Mononoke, masterpiece of our time.
You're like, well, you're from your brother's side for sure. He's located over here.
Yeah. Latin Americans just speak Spanish, and that is what I've understood. That's what always of Spanish-speaking background, right? And not Spanish. That's what I've always understood to be true.
I had a person,
Hispanic,
not a friend, say that it was, and I was just like, that sounds. I got not upset. I was just like, it was frustrating because I was attempting to be appropriate,
Yeah.
only to be shot down.
Yeah.
Because their explanation was Hispanic, and then the racial slur, the latter half of Hispanic, and they were like, "That's where that comes from, so you can't say that." I was like, "This is why I don't go to social gatherings."
But that doesn't make sense because just because someone makes a derivation of a word that is is then offensive, and also
I even said it as articulate as that. I used the word derivation.
Yes.
Is that what you just said?
Yes.
That's a big word.
Well, you can shorten it to something offensive if you want. Sorry. Sorry. All right. Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, different continents. Let's obviously we're not even gonna. Obviously, I am not offended in the least. Costa Rica and Puerto Rico sound the same. My entire high school career, quote unquote. Like I got to be a senior, and like all my friends were like, it's Brian, he's Mexican. And I was like, ha. I got to be a senior. And I was like, wait a second. Do you actually think? Sorry about that. Do you actually? Yeah, I did. So now it's even.
And he rubbed it.
Yeah, well, I was like, do you actually think I'm from Mexico? Which I wasn't offended. But I was like, but like I've told you many times where I'm from. And it was like, well, you're Mexican, right? And I was like, oh, you actually think? Okay, that's fine. It's just, So, by the way, I guess I'm just saying, like, but
they weren't saying it.
No.
They were just.
No, they just weren't aware.
Yeah.
And
did they think that Costa Rica was, like, part of.
I don't know.
Mexico? I don't know.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what city you were born in.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't.
So whenever you call me white, I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Because I.
And pick something?
Puerto Rican.
Okay, there we go. All right. Hoi. But that's you grew up. I don't know
what part of that Mexico is that Costa Rica?
Salvador. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, yo no inglendo, señor. I don't know why it's Salvadorian and not El Salvadorian. Well, no one does. No, I mean people do. I don't know.
We should do El Salvador. Or is it just Salvador?
El Salvador.
Is that the
El Salvador?
Is that the James Wood?
Oh, it's Salvador. It's just called
Salvador.
Yeah. This was a lighthearted, like jokey thing, but I hope no one was really offended. Murder capital of the planet is El Salvador. Really? La capital de asesinatos del mundo.
Don't do that.
Why? Is it uncomfortable?
I don't know what you're saying.
Fair. It's fair.
Speak to me in American.
You heard it here. Ooh. American is a tapestry of many languages and cultures.
It's
here, let's do
it. Pot.
Wow, Princess Mononoke.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good image.
I know it was kind of like off the beaten path a little bit. So let's talk.
Man,
yeah.
I went and rented this. From a video store.
What video store? Can we get a little
Vulcan
Video here in Austin,
Vulcan Video. I always love going into Vulcan Video because each time it's usually a different guy behind the register, and they hire the nicest guys, like true cinephiles, and they all look like cartoon characters of what you think a video clerk in the 90s looks like.
Like they hire them and they go, cool, we're just going to have to, hold on.
We're
We're
going to give you a plaid shirt, some sort of graphic tee from the 90s. Like a very, because they're really
wispy mustache.
Wispy mustache, like because they're all like 18, 19. Usually big 80s style glasses, like dad glasses. And then like some sort of like 80s style haircut.
Yeah, and like maybe like a shave.
Not a shave, always overgrown.
But yeah, totally
like Stranger Things nerds type guys. And it's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's what I miss about video stores, because you go in there and I always end up talking to them.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes at the least. Just because it's nice. It's so cool to go in and just, I relate to people for better or worse, usually through movies.
Yep.
And so it's always like it's like meeting, I used to smoke for a really long time, and you go outside, when you would go outside and have a cigarette, there'd be another guy. If there's another guy outside, you'd be like, oh, I guess we can talk.
Yeah.
And it made it, you could, because you had this thing. And it's the same thing with like going into a movie store. You're like, oh, you're like way into movies?
Yeah.
Me too. And then it's not even a testing thing. You can start talking and it feels very relaxed.
Yeah.
Because I don't usually like talking to people.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's weird.
So you have a cigarette.
So I have a cigarette in the video store.
Yeah.
And I'm very relaxed.
And the guy's like, you can't. And then he's like, what?
I'm like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Huh?
Nerd.
What are you doing, you fucking nerd? Huh?
Yeah,
pull on his earlobe.
But so here's the other thing. I remember going to, and maybe I've told this story before, but we went to, I think it was a Hollywood Video before they closed, obviously, because afterwards that's breaking and entering. And went in, and we were looking for Dr. Zhivago, the David Lean film Dr. Zhivago. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not making a point.
Did you go in there and you were like, I'd like the David Lean epic? Epic.
Yeah. And I was like,
Dr. Zhivago.
excuse me, let me get my scarf out.
With
of the way.
Omar Sharif.
Yes, and Julie
Christie.
and Geraldine Chaplin, I think.
Oh, really?
I think that's right. Anyway, so so we walk in, and my first job was at Hollywood Video.
My first job, and only job was at Blockbuster.
So you also have a job now.
But I like what I do.
Yeah.
I did not. I thought working at Blockbuster, I was like, oh man, I'm basically in show business now.
Yeah.
And then
like, wow, what a difference! Right?
And I was like, oh, this is terrible. Because I was like, looking back, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that they broke some sort of child labor laws of some sort. Just because I was 16, 17, and I was going to school and then working a full like 9 hours. And then closing at midnight, staying till 2, and doing that several days a week.
Yeah.
And then just not sleeping, and all for like $6 an hour.
Yeah. But like all the,
all the rentals that I wanted.
Rentals. Yeah. And you'd hear the clunk clunk clunk.
Yeah. Because you had to. This is when you had to rewind tapes.
Yeah, and you go, what is it? What just got in? Wild Things again? Does anyone want Wild Things? And everyone comes up, like the guys.
And I'm like, guys, sorry, it's out. And then I would just check it out every single time. Yeah. It's cool.
Nice.
It's cool.
Be Kind Rewind. I love that movie. You ever see Be Kind Rewind? Jack Black, Mos Def.
Michel Gondry. No.
Yeah. I was going to say Alexandre Aja, which is not true.
Who's that?
He's the guy who did.
What are you doing right now? Are you okay? You sick?
This is the language of my people. What?
You can't.
No, I can totally do it.
You can't.
I
do
can
that
do anything. I can do it.
Oye, señor. Excuse me, señor gato.
No.
I can do it.
When you go to jail for that.
I speak Spanish.
When you go to jail for that, they'll give you like a reduced sentence.
Here's the thing.
Because they're like, he is half, but
we'll beat the shit out of the other half of him.
We're gonna really send him to pound me in the ass prison.
Here's the thing.
For the other half.
We're just crossing every. Here's the thing. Here's the deal. So that honestly is part of my. So like, because you know
how you relate to people.
No.
Movies and broad caricatures.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. What I'm actually doing. I'm sorry. What did I say? Because here's the deal. This is what it is. Because people talk about Speedy Gonzalez being a racist caricature.
Right.
And I go, Speedy Gonzalez as speaking as someone of Hispanic heritage. What?
I just
What? Like the more time you take to say it.
You're using that voice that you use when you don't like a movie, but I do like it, and you're like that's cool, man.
Wait a second.
That's cool.
Wait a second. But what would I be? What am I
It's just
condescending to you in this instance?
The power that you have, you're lording your. You're like I'm half Costa Rican. It's cool. I can do whatever I want. So
yes.
I'm gonna do a Speedy. I know you're segueing into a Speedy Gonzalez impersonation shortly.
Well, that's true. 100% true. That's 100% true. But Speedy Gonzalez is a hero. He's a hero. He's a hero. He's a mouse.
Yeah.
And he goes really fast.
I love Speedy Gonzalez.
It's Mel
growing
Blanc
up, yeah.
who does all the voices.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Hippa, hippa, hey, sit there, you know."
And was he white?
He was not. What, Mel Blanc?
Yeah.
Oh, as the driven snow.
Okay.
I don't know. Probably. He might have been German. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean.
I'm just thinking at the time, like, because that's from 50s?
Yeah.
Is when it's created?
Yeah, 40s, 50s. Yeah, 50s. I don't know. Yeah.
I just feel like.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. But here's the deal. Like, people are always like, Speedy Gonzalez is racist caricature. And I go, not really. Not compared to his cousin, Slowpoke Rodriguez.
No.
Are you familiar with Slowpoke Rodriguez? Because
Was he fat
tell
and
you,
slow and...
he was not fat. He was tall and skinny, constantly, perpetually, always drunk, never not drunk. So Speedy was gonna be like, "Hey, Pep, I just saved you something, whatever, whatever." And it's like, and he would come over, and then he'd be like, "Oh, you're Slowpoke." And this, I am not kidding. This is the voice of Slowpoke Rodriguez. We should just stop right now. He goes, "Oh yeah, your cousin? Oh, is it?" Yes, that's exactly right, Neff. He'd be like, he would so he would come upon Slowpoke Rodriguez, who had a gigantic sombrero, like usually reclining against a cactus or something, and he would go, and then he would stop, and go, "Oh yeah, Slowpoke, what's going on?" And then Slowpoke Rodriguez would pull up his hat, and he would go,
Oh yes, Speedy. Señor Gato, he coming. Get you was something I'm gonna. What some blah blah. Whoa, what is oh
like that.
Oh.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like, I'm not kidding. And as a small Hispanic child, I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm not passing judgment on whatever. But when people go, Speedy Gonzalez is racist, I go, boop, boop. Take a step to the right. Take a little detour, and go say hello to somebody. Dip that mouse and say, yeah. I mean, he's a half a step from going,
hey, I just feel so.
Yeah, what was he drinking?
American Jobs.
What is that?
No, it's like he was just saying that. That's just terrible. That's the joke. I mean, that's like that. Basically,
you are pushing your
I'm
half Costa Rican.
Does anyone?
He's just He's like, I can wear this hat. It's fine.
Please understand.
I can just wear this mag. It's fine.
Yeah. Please understand. Please
ironic,
understand
guys.
that this is a Swiftian. Oh my gosh.
Swiftian.
Yeah, Jonathan Swift. Modest proposal.
That's not how I read it. I was like, oh, Taylor Swift.
Oh no. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That is the sort of thing that you don't ever say because it will be taken out of context and it does not matter how you explain it.
Oh, I can't wait for the supercut.
You're right.
That someone makes.
Oh my gosh.
Of
Please
all
understand.
the things that we could go to jail for.
I'm not legally making these jokes. I am making fun of the jokes that were being made because that is the most racist stereotype of an Hispanic male.
I'm trying to think of what is the most
possible.
racist animation character in animation.
There's Speedy and Slowpoke.
I'm sure
There's Slowpoke. You see, his eye, he does not even have two fully opened eyes. He is so intoxicated constantly. Those two birds from that one Disney thing? Oh, you're talking about the
It's just
crows?
that they made him, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, let's not go anywhere. Let's not go anywhere. That's a fair point. Anyway,
Let's talk about this movie.
yeah, how did this get
I
ended up
know.
doing a Slowpoke Rodriguez impression.
And we're only in like minute 20.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Okay, here we go. Nope, we're already
We
there.
should do an episode on racist cartoons. But then is the episode itself deemed racist for propagating the
Yep. Like
I mean, I was gonna wear like, I mean, it's a theme show, so.
Like I am legitimately not. I'm 60% sure I could probably get banned for everything that I just said, even though what I was pointing out was okay. All right, let's talk about anything else.
Okay.
Reset. I will delete all this. Here we go. Oh, but when you watch those cartoons, you're like, ay, no me gusta. So yes. So again, that's the sort of thing where if you watch the Simpsons and go like that Bumblebee is racist, you're like, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
That is a caricature of the racist.
Yeah.
Well, not
when
even
when Apu
actually,
became under fire, how did you feel about that?
Well, I don't know. I think I think the way I gauge it is I go, well, I don't think Apu caused me to think of people of any ethnicity in any different sort of way. To me, he's a character who is ultimately a very noble, kind.
I know. He's like one of
generous,
the best characters on the show.
But at the same time, so that is
most
from
moral characters on the show.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, yeah, if you're talking about good people, it's like sometimes it's the people that it's like I don't know. Like it's Apu. As much as they make fun of Ned Flanders, Ned is like a very nice guy.
Yeah.
Whatever. But
I loved how they would always subvert it like that, where like
yeah.
Apu was one of the more moral, like one of the most moral and noble characters.
Yeah.
Ned Flanders, and like they gave him all these great traits and talents and stuff, and then like when Ned Flanders took off his shirt for the first time, they were just like. They made him super ginormously ripped, and I was like, "Oh, that's great."
That's one of the funniest, most absolutely like true use of the word random like bits of comedy. It's so great. But having said that about Apu, that's from my perspective.
Sure.
Growing up as an Indian American child, or anyone who would receive any sort of treatment or be called Apu or anything growing up, which I know happened.
Yeah.
And to be reduced to that character, no matter how people felt about him, and to just or to feel that was your sole point of representation, that's something I clearly, obviously, have no background or credible stance from which to comment on. So
yeah. Agreed. I don't really know,
and I think that's part of the point. And because I totally honestly will admit because I think we're boy, we got into some deep waters. But I think there are shifts happening culturally, right? And honestly, like to be totally frank, when some of these shifts started to happen, and there's still things where I go, okay, come on. Like, this is not the intention, blah, 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 blah. But the flip side of that is like, yeah. It's very, very incredibly easy for me to be like, the intention was not this. The intention was not that. Look at where the intention is. And there is a thing where I go, art is that's a tricky line for me, where I go, art is expression and blah, 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 blah. The flip side of it is incredibly easy for me to say that because I am coming from it as a person who at least passes as the same background of the person who generally, in most cases, wrote and created that thing as a joke, whatever. There is obviously in each of those cases, or in situations, there are people who when someone's like, I'm offended by that, that takes my experience and changes it, or I've received treatment based on that. That is something that in the past people were like, get over it. But I think people are starting to go, that is a valid human point, because you are a human being and these things have consequences. And I don't think it's cut and dry all the time, but I think we're moving into in a direction where people are listening to perspectives more.
I think that's probably my main issue. When I do take issue with things, it's because I'm like, well, most of these topics can never be cut and dry in any way, shape, or form.
Agreed. And
so it's always a debate, and you just see the pendulum go. Yeah. And eventually it'll kind of.
Yeah, and I think my brother,
in a good way. I don't mean it'll lessen and it'll go back to normal. I mean it'll find a new equilibrium and.
I guess you should just write about the race we belong to. Then that'll be good for it. Yeah, here we. Yeah, and like I mean, what? Yeah, I get. Here's the thing. Like my brother-in-law made a good point that sort of stuck with me a while back, and he was like, it's like there's some things where it's like terrible things have been happening, and people have been being ignored, and people have been being drastically, paralyzingly marginalized for decades and longer. The pendulum, in some small ways, is beginning to swing the other way. There are some instances in which it seems like, oh wait, that's a different thing. Maybe the intention wasn't, and that may be swinging too far. But maybe it's okay if it swings too far on the other end sometimes. Now, you know what I mean? It's like so.
But then to have an informed,
sure,
intellectual conversation about it.
And I think mature, respectful, kind conversation, I think, is always the goal. I don't know how often, even when that is the goal, it ends up being the result. So, unfortunately, so. Anyway, speaking of mature and kind and respectful conversation, let's talk about
this movie.
Yeah, I really wanted to just like throw in one more cherry bomb, but like, no bowl, stick.
All right, did you watch the dub or the sub?
Ooh, nice. Well, I have to say I watched the dub. Did you watch?
I watched the first 5 minutes with the dub, and because I couldn't figure out how to switch to the sub.
Yeah,
and
because by no means would you be caught dead. I am the pleb who does the dub.
And you had the choice?
I did. I have the Blu-ray DVD double set. It was given to me by a student of mine, and I never gave it back, and I don't remember who gave it to me. So if somehow you're watching, which you're not, but if you are, and I have your copy of Princess Mononoke, please let me know so that I can forget to give it to you again.
I have to say, though, the 5 minutes that I did listen to, I really enjoyed the dub. I was like, oh, this seems like it's a good dub.
There was some
and I was like, and then I looked it up, and it was Billy Crudup, and I was like, that's why it's.
I know. And here's the deal.
The main thing for me always is like, is the main character gonna? He did a really good job from what I saw. I was like, he matched.
Yeah.
Tonally. Yeah.
I came here for Good Wolf Doggo's an epic heroic music animation, but welp, yeah, here we go. We're going. Tom Hanks is going to play Lobo in the movie version of this speech. I wonder what speech. There's been too many speeches. The dub isn't bad, but the sub is way to go. I understand. My on it, like I generally, like I don't mind subtitles at all. I am a smart person. I'm a smart person. And I read. Yeah.
He's like, I read Tintin.
No, I do. Hold on, as I grab my Tintin and my grain silo from which I will. No, but here's the thing. But honestly, as we said before, and you well know, I really feel like the dub.
They do really good dubs,
especially if it's a good one.
Yeah,
allows me to focus more on.
Agree.
And in something like, and I mean, like, not to say that in something like Kurosawa you don't miss. Obviously, you miss the same. You miss similar amounts of information, but there's just so much of it is so visual. And and Miyazaki himself said, well, who's to say that just because it's in Japanese, it's the native. I mean, it's just like he said, it's communication and it's however it happens. It's not.
And particularly with
like,
animation,
is it more natural to have it in Japanese?
Yeah, if one thing lends itself to dubbing, it would be animation.
Sure.
I really felt like when we did Howl's, I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
Because I did not like that dub.
Yeah.
Like, and I really think it affected.
Sure.
This one seemed out of the gate like a much better, just tonally with every character that I heard in those opening 5 minutes. I was like, this seems pretty darn good. But I just switched over.
Dubbing,
I just want to say right out of the gate, this is by far, my favorite one. Miyazaki
like
movie.
Not a contest.
Like not a contest.
Interesting.
Loved it to death. Like was very moved by it many times.
Yeah. You forgot your hat. You were so moved.
I forgot my hat. I was so moved. I was like, "There's no point wearing a hat today because I can't hide my emotions on this one."
Yeah.
I thought this was a masterpiece.
Which is why you wear it in the first place.
Yeah.
Because your emotions just come out of your head.
Like they brim. I get really red, and then steam, and then I blow out my top.
It's just a rainbow that comes out of your your head.
Don't take that one out of context.
Sure, I don't. Yeah, if one of us is going to jail, I always get the anxiety of something being lost in translation tonally, and I think that honestly may specifically be the case with this one. The dub was overseen. The translation was overseen by Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, I read that.
Wait,
yeah.
so juxtaposing those things makes it sound like I'm saying Neil Gaiman did a poor job. I'm not saying that. There was potentially, supposedly, sort of a vested interest by Disney. It was overseen by Disney and Miramax, and they sort of made an effort to kind of because it was, I think, one of the first.
I think it was
the first Ghibli to make it over. Ghibli, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
And old Harvey Weinstein brought him over, and he was like, sorry, we're just touching on all
No, yeah. I thought you were going to use some sort of double entendre about what he did to this film. Do not please.
Boy.
Oh, gosh.
But like, it's, it is crazy. And that's why I think it is the first one. Because he was like, he did that, like, I don't know if anyone's ever read, I can't even remember what it was called, but there's this fascinating book by Peter Biskin about the rise of Miramax in 90s independent cinema. Yeah. And it's fascinating, and it really, when I read it, that's when I knew. I was like, oh, Harvey Weinstein is like a stone cold monster. Because they kind of touch upon things then. And anyways, he was called Harvey Scissorhands.
Right.
He would buy these gorgeous independent movies at Cannes or Sundance,
and then tape Edward Scissorhands over.
And then it was just the opening 5 minutes is Edward Scissorhands, and the rest of the movie.
It's just the part when the writer's dancing in the snow.
He's like, I love that part. It makes any movie better. But he would always try to chop him up.
Yeah.
And so when I read this, I was like, this has to be the first one, because he tried to chop 34 minutes out of this movie. And Miyazaki was like, no, that is not happening. And then he had his producer send him a katana with a tag around it that said no cuts, which I thought was the most awesome way to handle such an asshole like that guy. Because that dude really is an asshole.
And that's like because that's like the that's like the Far Side version of what would that is a like an editorial cartoon of explanation of what would happen. But that is literally what happened.
It's so cool.
Like, you sent him a sword.
No cuts.
Yeah.
And I was like, get him, Miyazaki.
Yeah. My gosh, that's like the flip would be like Sam Peckinpah sending like a revolver to someone and being like, cut it and I'll kill you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the. I don't
He's
know.
like, I'm not good. I'm drunk right now. So I'm not good.
Exactly right. I'll just get him to murder you. I'm going to murder you. Okay. He didn't say anything about editing. He just said he's going to. Peckinpah is going to kill me. Yeah, I think this is going well. Besides all the other stuff. I'm not gonna. That was very good. I prefer to not hear familiar voices in animation. I just use terrible, unwatchable even for memes.
It does take me out. It does.
Because
that's why I hate celebrity. I hate how that became the trend.
I understand.
Of instead of getting good vocal artists, you would get Cameron Diaz and nothing against Cameron Diaz, but it's just I hate that I can recognize at least with Mike Myers, you're he can do a version of Mike Myers. I mean, that's kind of what he does. He does voices and stuff. But then they were whenever Justin Timberlake has done multiple animated movies, and I'm like, why? You have it has nothing to do. He's a musician. He's a vocal artist. Yeah. And he's got a high falsetto. He can hit those notes. I'm like, that has nothing to do with the fact that he doesn't bring anything to it.
Yeah. Well, in the case of, now I will say,
Christian Bale, I'm sorry, but that House dub was terrible.
As fantastic as I totally agree that I think Christian Bale is one of our most gifted actors.
Me too.
I was not always on board the Christian Bale train. Now I am conducting
the Bale bus.
The Bale bus.
Yeah.
And everybody's getting on.
Who's getting on?
Everybody.
Is Christopher Walken getting on?
Come on, get on. Ding ding. Come here, Chris. Do you have your snack pack, Chris? Yeah. Chris, do you have your snack pack?
Did you get your bus card?
And he goes. He gets on.
Nicely done.
Oh, my snack bag.
No, don't do it.
Yeah, as much as I love Christian Bale, yes, I agree. I don't don't.
Yeah.
Something in the direction, something in the whatever was lost in the
Yeah.
performance. I mean, there's something that didn't. Whatever, and it's not even because it's a bad performance. I just don't know that it's a good match. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I will say, and I totally agree with celebrity voices with like, and here, I mean, Meg Ryan and John Cusack, two of the most charismatic, wonderful on-screen presences we've ever had. That's all. Were the voices in Anastasia, and I was like, wait a second,
They were?
why?
Really?
Wait a second. Hank Azaria is Bartok the Bat, and I go Hank Azaria.
Yeah.
But like, and I'm not saying anything. They have lovely voices. John Cusack, melodious voice.
Yeah,
I mean,
and like someone like Scarlett Johansson, I'm like, cool, you can do it.
Sure.
You've got a distinctive voice that can lend something to a character.
Ka the Papa.
Emma Stone, I'm like, no, it's just not like, why not get just a really good vocal? I hate because it is its own thing. Yeah. It really is. Like there's an artistry unto itself for voiceover acting for feature films. Like it's just there is.
I agree.
And it's not the same thing.
But so here's the deal. I totally agree with you. The casting for this one, I actually am quite on board with.
Yeah.
Gillian Anderson as
she's Princess.
She's not, but she is the wolf mother spirit. She's the band
really?
Wolf Mother, yes.
Because in the Japanese version, it's a dude.
It's a dude.
Which I thought was awesome.
And here's the deal. That is because in Japanese... Okay, we both know.
We'll say it.
No one needs to know.
No.
We all know. We're all friends. We're all smart people. We're all smart people. I read the IMDb. No,
I thought that was very interesting.
It is very interesting. Yeah, because...
Because, well, do you know that, like,
in
the
Japanese?
very, very detailed... I know it's, like, a cultural thing. I don't know why, though.
Oh, well,
I can't remember why.
I think in Japanese... They said in Japanese folklore... dog spirits and wolf spirits are always male,
right?
Regardless of
gender.
Which
yeah,
is
that's what it was.
Yeah, totally. So sorry. The other thing, just to go back, it's too late. But whatever. Justin Timberlake. I will say, in the bits of the tutti frutti, multicolored, delightful romp, Trolls. What the heck is it called? The troll movie? Whatever.
Despicable Me?
No, it's like Trolls. It's like literally Trolls, like troll dolls, like little trolls.
Oh, those are movies.
I mean, it's a movie of trolls, and it's got him and Andy Kendrick as the two leads. It is rife with song, and he brings a delightful bit of. I haven't seen most of it. I've seen very little of it, but
that's cool. Then get him to do the songs.
He does. I got this feeling.
Does he do the
inside
the
my
rest
bones.
of it though?
And on electric, and I turn it on. Yeah, and he goes. Hi, I'm a troll, and I founded MySpace.
It's a really good Justin Timberlake. Put that in your canon. You know what? Put him on the bill
Put
list.
that in your canon and just shoot it somewhere else. Yeah, I got you. In any case, he adds, who is to say that a subtitled print is any more authentic, says Miyazaki. When you watch the subtitled version, you're probably missing just as many things. There's a layer and a nuance you're not going to get. Film crosses so many borders these days, of course it's going to be distorted. And as Roger Ebert was quoted as saying, in a podcast that I listened to, he said, animated films are always dubbed.
Yeah, pompous asshole.
Get him! No,
I love him.
I know.
I love him to death.
The reflection of the ring light in Jeff's glasses looks like two eyeballs. That's it. Neil Gaiman, love it.
Yeah, it's just
They just yeah. I was expecting them from They just do a new job. They kind of create a new subtext to characters sometimes when they don't feel they can recreate a character's vibe the same way it was meant in Japanese. Right, and they kind of try to shore up sort of cultural differences that we might not understand. Like they simplify things and kind of the latest Yakuza game release, Judgment, is the first time they've had a dub since the original game in 2005. The script for the dub is a separate translation than the translation for the subs. So much localization work. Peter Biskin, or we'll stab you. There you go. Harvey was like, go home and get your cut box. And Miyazaki was like, no more cuts, Harvey. This is exactly, I believe, how Hayao Miyazaki was like, get your cut box. Jeff laughs like that Indian guy in that one meme. Are we referring to the Joe?
Am I allowed to do that?
Is this a thing? Lobo, mention how much he loves Christian Bale every time his name is brought up, cop. So I overdo it because I used to not be on that bus train. Yeah, but now I am riding the ship.
Like, he really hated him. I'd be like, why are you in a bad mood? I'm like, I was thinking about Christian Bale.
Hey, Lobo, how do you feel about Christian Bale, by the way? I did not turn the corner, really, and I still have not seen American Psycho. Until Newsies. Empire of the Sun, I was like, who is this hack?
Yeah.
No, that was like, I didn't realize it until. But no, like really, the fighter, I was like, oh, it's phenomenal. The fighter, his
Yeah,
performance
you
in
had
the
such a
final.
boner for the fighter.
I do.
I've never
And
seen
you
it.
have such a boner for whatever it was that you had a boner for the other day, earlier. Oh, Mononoke,
Well, don't-
which is
she's
Mononoke.
underage, and
No, it's.
I
You're gonna
wish
make
you
out
had
like
like
a
a really
Mononoke.
middling review of this movie, and you're
Princess
like,
Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke, Princess Mononoke.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna look up how many were titled. But
I watched The Grey yesterday just to stay up. By the way, the movie The Grey is amazing.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
I love that movie so much. And I on the Blu-ray cover, I was like, oh, Peter Travers writes the most baity reviews because he's like, it was something about being a grisly thrill ride through, and like it's wild in more ways than one, and you're just like, Peter, stop.
Yeah,
but he gets on every box art,
He gets on VH1's I Love the '80s.
Do you get paid to get on, like, or is it just
you
like
don't
an
get
ego
paid,
thing?
but it's like okay.
Okay.
I don't think I ever, because I used to write reviews. Does everyone know that? Have we talked about? Hold on.
You also did
Hold on a
Macbeth.
second, gosh. I don't think I ever got on any sort of whatever.
Did you
But I
ever-
had friends who did.
I
and
want
was
you
like,
to
cool.
write a review about your performance in Macbeth.
I did. That's what you saw. And it also said, what was that? Gosh, I wish I could. I shared it on Twitter. The best pull quote I've ever seen in my entire life.
About your performance?
No.
That's the screensaver on
yeah,
your computer?
I know, and on my phone. And hold on, and I'm wearing a second shirt. No, I picked up it was a Steven Seagal movie, and I picked it up at like a thrift store, and I don't know what, I can't even remember what it was called, but I pictured Steven Seagal on it. And I think it was a foreign.
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah.
It was like a Chinese version of the DVD, and at the top, I can't even remember what it's called, but at the top, in quotes, it was quote, has one or two passable action scenes, end quote. Guy's
It
name.
was like the main
and
quote.
they're like, "That's what we got."
Front and center.
That's what we got. It was that, or this is an affront to morality and mankind. And we're gonna go with the other one. And I have to imagine that they were like that it was just a mistranslate, like they were just kind of like, because it's a Chinese DVD or something, and they were just like, this sounds like it's talking about the action scenes. Just put it on there, and it was just great. And then I put it on social media, and one of my friends knew the guy and found him, like the guy
Really?
who wrote that quote, like was like friends with him. He was like, hey, check it out, and it's fantastic.
He was like, what?
Yeah, and he was like, I said, passable. His ability to lose weight to the point of, oh yeah, that's scary. That was back when I wasn't really on the entire Christian Bale gravy boat, on the Christian Bale gyrocopter. We're gonna go through as many forms of transportation again. When he was like losing all that weight for Machine and putting it on for Batman, whatever.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So Christian Bale's an actor, and he lost a lot of weight for roles, and then he would put on a lot of weight.
He did.
Yep, he did. Certainly
Did you do it more than once?
A couple times. And I was like, I would get mad at him. Like I would from my
Why?
from my couch, I'd be like, stop doing that to your body.
You were concerned for him.
Yes.
Is this pre or post, like, on the bus bail?
Pre.
The bail bus.
Pre.
So you just cared about him so much.
I didn't.
That you were just angry at him that he was doing this to his health.
Yes. I didn't care about him so much. I just was like, stop.
Were you mad that you couldn't do that?
I can't do that.
I mean, it's shocking, yeah, and you shouldn't do that.
Right.
I don't think I don't
That's about
think
what I
he
felt.
could do that anymore. In fact, I
Just
feel like
ask
he's.
him. Call him up and ask him. He'll do it. He'll do it right now.
I feel like he's
So,
even said he
do
can't
it.
anymore because he's like, I've done it too many times.
He really has.
Like he's done it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Because wasn't he huge in
The Machinist 2,
in
The Machinist 3,
David
The
O.
Thickening.
Russell movie,
What's that?
the where he was big.
Yeah. And I remember seeing that trailer and going like, oh, they put a fat. Nope. It's not a
And
fat
he did it for
suit.
Dick Cheney.
Yes.
So really, he did it last year.
Yeah. He aged himself several. Like,
Jeez.
yeah, I know. And I go, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Hey man.
You got a family.
What if he died as Dick Cheney?
Like in the makeup?
like in the makeup, and he had a heart attack like Dick Cheney does, and he like while they're filming the heart attack scene, he has a real heart attack.
Is Dick Cheney alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so. His
We
ability
need to talk about this movie.
Yeah, there are these thousands of unknown voice actors who are just as good, moderately even better to do that. Particularly, I don't want to hear Joseph Gordon-Levitt just because it's a recognizable name. That's fair. Let me share your weeb knowledge. My weeb knowledge? Wait, Emma Stone does not have a distinctive voice. I was going to say when you said that, Emma.
I guess she does.
I feel like Emma Stone and Scarlett Johansson actually have very similar
Scarlett
voices.
Johansson has a there's a reason they like when they did her.
Yes.
They like went back and they were like, we
Yes.
need something way more. Like her performance in her. That's showed me. I was like, that makes. I clicked in my brain. I never really even thought about it. I was like, yeah,
she's got a great voice.
She could do that.
And she's a wonderful singer, which makes sense if you think about it. And then because words make sense and you understand things.
She's a good singer.
She's a good singer, very good singer. I've heard her sing. It's great.
Where?
She was at a party. It was cool. I was like, it's Charlotte.
I mean, being Christopher Walken at that party?
No.
This is like a party you held.
Yeah. This is the thing. And I go, hey, Scarlett. I think I just called her Charlotte earlier in the story. I was like, hey.
Oh, you did that thing to like.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what's your name? What's your name? Charlotte? Oh,
yeah,
cool. Nice to meet you.
It's awful.
That's cool.
Oh,
were you in that movie She? Or, yeah, whatever. I'll see you later.
Yeah,
I'll be over here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch Trolls.
He just walked over there. Why did he? That's my Scarlett Johansson impression. It's terrible. What a terrible thing. No, and I was like, yo, DJ, spin this. And I go, yo. I go, Scarlett.
Oh, man.
Scarlett, you know
I
this
love
stuff?
your version of a cool guy.
It's not.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yo, DJ, spin.
Yo, hit it.
Spin that.
Yeah. VIP. Let's kick it. And I go,
I love you.
and I was like,
You're so cool.
See what you can do with this. And it was like, this you is step up. And then she sang it. It was great. This is how we do it. I'm stopping.
Ugh.
Boy, what a rough night. Trolls 2 is coming out too. It's soon. Yeah, it's Trolls 2. It's about the sour bright crawly gummies.
I haven't heard of that.
It's like when the Transformers did the Dinobots. The sour bright crawlies is the sequel to Trolls.
I tried to watch Beast Wars last night. Couldn't find it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Is that good?
I couldn't find it. Yeah. Beast Wars?
Sorry. Very sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Forget next month. We're doing Beast Wars.
We can only do so much anime. It's not anime. Okay, it's not anime. Much more into the fray. MFR. The fighter family starring Conan O'Brien's sister. What? Conan O'Brien's sister? Really? Who? Brian. Oh, jeez. I told people too much about my life. He actually aged the age. It's all because De Niro Raging Bull. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Everybody saw that and they're like, I can do that. It's like a penis measuring contest. It's just like such a thing to do.
Which is like, yeah.
And
Which is a thing to do.
And it's cool, but like, I hate when people are like, oh my God, he gained all that weight. That's a good performance. I'm like, no. Not necessarily.
I agree. But
I saw Jared Leto do it for that John Lennon, David Chapman movie.
Right.
And I was like, and I think Jared Leto is a fantastic actor and a total asshole, but like a good actor. And I didn't like what he did in that movie.
I did not see it. I hope she is known
Beast
as
Wars the Pride.
Joan and O'Brien. Yeah.
Beast Wars: The Pride of Canadian Animation. I did not know that. I love that show.
I thought the pride of Canadian animation was Pornhub.
You liked it?
I did. I liked it. 50 Cent starved himself for some football movie no one heard of. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. I heard that. I saw the trailer for it. He was doing like a whole string of movies that looked like they were made for real low.
Yo, Reboot was Canadian? Oh man,
Reboot is awesome.
I'm stuck in that. Yo, tell me, Reboot's Canadian, bro? Oh gosh, I gotta stop. Let's talk about this movie.
We gotta talk about this movie.
Gosh, this is worse
we
than
only
usual.
have talked about whether I only asked you one question. Did you watch the dub or the sub?
Yeah. And here's the thing.
Stop. We're moving on.
No, but this is true. This is a true story.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlett Johansson and I were at a party. No, listen. This is a true story. I not only watched the English dub.
You got a little English.
I surely did. I sure did. Now listen to me. For fuck's sake. I not only that I listened to the English dub. I listened to the English dub because I was like, I can't pass up Billy Crudup, Gillian Anderson.
Oh, so it worked for you.
It really did. I'm the
celebrity
idiot.
cast worked.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
And I was like, I'll do it. But I also wanted to, because Miyazaki sanctioned it specifically. He sent me Simeon, he was at the same party. It was Gillian Anderson, Billy Crudup, Claire Danes as Princess Mononoke.
Okay.
And and then I hadn't looked, and when
If you're gonna go celeb casting, I like Claire Danes a lot.
oh yeah, she's great.
Have you ever seen any of I keep diverting.
It's okay.
But that
Homeland?
Homeland.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
The first season, I only saw the first season, but I was like, oh my god.
She's a fantastic. She's a fantastic actress.
Yeah.
And I remember even My So-Called Life. I remember
Yeah, she was great. In
that popped up, and I was a kid, and it was aimed at me.
Yeah.
Specifically. No, I mean it was named at whatever, and I go like, oh, it's real. Specifically because of Claire Danes, and I was like, oh, she's like a really good actress.
Yeah, there was a scene where she was in a car, and I think she's
Jared Leto,
and she's like next to Jared Leto, and then their sleeves touch.
Yeah.
And the whole mood in the car changes, but they never really do anything after that. But you could tell, and I remember being at that point in my life, being young enough to being like, that's really real.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Very specifically.
I think
never watched the show,
There's-
but I just remember passing through the channels, seeing that moment, and being like, oh, that's really
I never watched the show really either, but yeah, there were bits that I would catch, and I'd be like, dang, this is good.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to
Mononoke. This is what it's gonna be.
Or I'd be back to Animaniacs or whatever I was
yeah,
watching.
yeah.
But yeah, we're not talking about Mononoke yet. But seriously, there were shows in the '90s. There are lost shows in the '90s that are gems, and you're like, oh, that was the best television had been, and we didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that, stuff like Twin Peaks, NYPD Blue. So there's stuff I've never seen NYPD Blue, but supposedly it's great. They're just pieces of genius. I know, '90s baby.
Yeah. Isn't that Milch? David Milch.
I think it's Milch.
Yeah.
Deadwood.
Like Milch.
David Milch. David Deadwood Milch. It's a solid cast. Yeah. So yeah. And then
who else is in the movie?
Billy Bob Thornton pops up, and
That's who?
because I was watching it, and then the monk dude who kind of was like, hey, you, that gold, he started talking, and I go, is that fucking Billy Bob Thornton?
Does it work?
It is super fun.
Yeah.
It's because it works in the sense that it's really great and really entertaining, and I always Billy Bob I love Billy Bob Thornton in anything. I will watch him in anything.
Yeah,
he shows up in Love Actually, and I am like, this is great.
Yeah.
What a smarmy, wonderful bastard.
Yeah.
He's so funny. He's great. He's such a man. I just love him.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
I really love him.
He's one of the most unique and just wonderfully entertaining flavors of actor I've ever seen, and it's so specific and so, again, unique. So he popped up, and I go, is Billy Bob Thornton in this anime film? Because what?
That makes so much sense, knowing that Miramax put it all together. Because Billy Crudup was in some movie where he played an ex-heroin addict, recovering heroin addict.
Son?
Jesus' Son.
Yep.
That's Miramax.
Yep.
And it's all around the same, 97. So all these, and Billy Bob.
Billy Crudup is fantastic.
He's one of my favorite actors.
I
love Billy
He's
Crudup.
great.
I love Billy. He's
was considered
such an underrated.
He really is.
Really fantastic. But
He's like a thinner Jason Patrick. He's like Jason Patrick's little brother in the sense that he is a very good actor who does who occasionally does films and
I feel like he
lot
does.
of
I feel like
indie-
he's
indie-
doing exactly what
he wants to. Yeah.
what he wants to
Totally,
do.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you're actually doing it better than anyone.
Yeah.
Because you're a very, very successful actor,
Yeah.
and you star in some really big stuff.
Yeah.
But you only do things you want to do,
Absolutely.
and you're good every single time.
I agree. He's my favorite performance in Spotlight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough. He's up against a ridiculous cast.
Yeah.
And I go,
Yeah, he's so
because
good.
I remember seeing that movie and going, I'm going to go see that movie. And I really can't wait to see Billy Crudup scene.
Yeah. Yeah, he was fantastic.
What an interesting, and it's not like he's
No, he's
he's
only in
a
for
very-
a handful of scenes.
and
but,
he's a complex character where
Yeah,
he's not
yeah.
a good guy all the way.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's but anyway,
But right out of the gate with this movie, do we know where Miyazaki's fascination with the spindly
goop
goop
Like-
comes from?
big.
I think it's
thin
used to its best
tar
effect.
monsters, yeah.
I think it's used to its best effect in this movie because because it's one of the first things you see.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, this is like in all his movies.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
like
interesting.
that thing, huh? Yeah.
And then you see the boar like running through the forest, and how that entire
Ugh.
animation is so like this is one of the most beautifully like honestly guys, this is like one of the best in terms of like the anime movies that I've ever seen. I mean, it's I would put it at the very, very top. I was very blown away by this movie.
Yeah.
And I've only seen like some of the core kind of classics, and up to this point I've held like things like Ninja Scroll and Grave of the Fireflies and like very, very like at the top, and I would put that movie right at the top or even above those. Like I really thought it was fantastic. Like I couldn't believe it. Just goes to show how, which is why it was so infuriating to read that he wanted to cut 30 minutes out of this movie.
Yeah. And
I'm like, you would like, there's so many little bits of nuance, and yet I feel like this movie moves so quickly. I don't feel like it ever drags, and
Absolutely,
it
that's
tackles how I love that both the hero and the villain could argue that they have, strong suits, and like the villain, when you understand why she's doing what she's doing, like she's doing it for reasons that she truly believes in. It's just
like
nuance.
And...
she believes in the survival of her community, of Iron City, or of Iron Town, and that trumps environmentalism and everything, because she cares about the lepers in her colony, and like she turns she gives a haven to all the prostitutes to come in, and she gives them real work and a real living wage. And she just believes in that so much that it clouds her judgment in terms of everything else. But in her mind, it's the right thing to do.
It's interesting. Yeah.
And then vice versa on the flip side with Mononoke.
I hear you saying that. Yeah. Mononoke hates lepers. But
she just blindly hates humans,
Totally. And with abundant reason.
With abundant reason, but it also clouds her judgment.
Absolutely.
Because when she meets
they're intractable positions, right?
Oh my god, what Ashita?
Gosh darn it.
Which, by the way, it was interesting to learn, because I know Miyazaki wanted to name the movie The Legend of Ashitaka,
I believe.
And that honestly feels more appropriate than Princess Mononoke.
Yeah,
I was just surprised. I thought it was going to be way more her movie.
And I'm wondering if it's not just that she is, and I don't but I don't know the folklore. I wonder if she's the legendary folk character.
Yeah.
And that if Ashitaka is not sort of
a written form. Yeah, right.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is the idea of worms and I definitely think Mononoke is the most mature of the lot. It tackles some very mature themes. So wait, before we go much further, I want to comment on this later. All that stuff that you just said about I'll call her Minnie Driver's character. She's Minnie Driver. My goodness, by the way.
That's funny, Minnie Driver. Yeah, Good Will Hunting, Miramax.
Yeah. She goes. I won't be in your life, and I won't call you.
Who's she?
I play basketball. Dunk. Hook. I could play in the NBA. All right. Did you hear? Do you think you were going to get Minnie Driver from Good Will Hunting?
I didn't know yet. I didn't.
Yeah, no, you didn't. It's not good. But she is. She's the villain.
Oh, cool.
It's the Iron City.
She do a
queen.
good job.
She does a fantastic job.
Cool.
And it's so funny when you hear, because that's what I'm saying. They cast these well.
Yeah.
They cast these very well in terms of persona and what the actor brings to it. Also in terms of voice.
Yeah.
Minnie Driver has a fantastic voice. And I knew that somewhere, but didn't realize it. I was like, oh, what a wonderful villain.
I think why I'm able to enjoy the writing more in the subtitled versions.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Because
sometimes, because it's written in Japanese, and even though they do a translation, just some scenes, like when he gets wounded, and takes her out of the city, and then he passes out and falls off. And she is,
kind of saving him,
and then he kind of comes to, and he's just kind of in and out of consciousness, and he says something, and then he's like, "You're beautiful."
Yes.
Like, I feel like if I had watched that in English, that wouldn't have played nearly as well as it does in Japanese.
And I think that is true. I think that there are definitely moments that are more poignant if you're reading them. I think because you you hear the emotion and you read it, and there's something about that combination.
Yeah.
Something about the specific
Yeah.
combination of hearing the emotion of the actor and getting the literal translation from a written source. There's some combination. There's some alchemy there.
There's a magic to that.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. So I think
That's interesting.
That's why I generally, really, honestly, if there's an option, usually do subtitles. But with these, I just wanted to catch more, whatever. And I'm glad, honestly, that one of us watched one and one of because I think that's cool. Is the idea? Oh, but anyway, sorry. I wanted to say the Mini Driver character, not Oniyusha. That's a whole different thing. That queen.
Iboshi?
Iboshi? Yeah, Lady Iboshi.
Lady Iboshi?
Yeah.
Or Milady. We'll just call her Milady.
Yeah, Milady. I'm going to call her Mini Driver. Because I'm a dumb American. Half.
Minnie?
Half. Yeah,
Minnie Mouse?
Yeah, that British lady. That's interesting, your whole take on her character, because I had
Did she play it more evil?
So, I guess we could talk about it now. I kind of want to talk about it later.
Okay.
Which means we never will. No, I like all that stuff about caring for the lepers, where she's talking, and I don't know if it was in performance. I think it must have been in the performance, which is interesting because then it must have been purposeful when she's talking. But in retrospect, it wasn't. When she's talking to the lepers and being kind to everyone, it felt very much It felt very much like she had an agenda. And later, like she was I was like, I don't buy this for a second. And this is very interesting. Like and the way that they're all like, kowtowing to her, and they're going like, oh, and like we know we've got to do this for our mistress, for the missus, whatever. And no, she's wonderful. She saves us all the time. And they're all like groveling. All the lepers are grateful for that forever. And they're just like, no, she's the one who taught. And I was like, she's using you for labor. And she's like, this and this and this.
That's wild.
And then later, when later in the late goings, when Ashitaka is like, stop, they're alone, they're being attacked by the samurai, we need to go back, and she just goes, the women are they're trained. I've done what I can for them. They can fend for themselves. They can take care of themselves. Whatever we're going on. I was like, yeah, this is the moment I was waiting for. It doesn't necessarily play as sinister, but it has that thing where I kind of go like, right, yeah. You were trying to set up for this or whatever. This was your real goal. But
I read it as heartless, but only in her drive to.
But actually, it was interesting because
it's what a good general would do. It was just,
agreed.
It was just like
the letter of what she's saying makes sense.
And they set it up where it was just
Totally.
like, I have worked so hard to get those guns as light as possible. I've trained them. There's nothing more I can do in this moment. We built to this moment. We have to keep going. We have to push forward.
Right.
Because I believe in maintaining, our human existence.
Yeah.
With that town, I can't be weak right now, and that's what made it so. Which is fascinating to me that her Mini Driver's performance played that scene, which to me was such a pivotal scene in actually giving her some
nobility
complexity,
and strength. Sure, yeah.
and understanding where her motivations came from.
Well, and that's
it was that leper scene that made me. I was like, that's awesome that she's not just a villain. And she is the villain.
Yeah, totally.
But that's all I ask. I'm like, give me a villain with some justifiable reasons for doing it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to agree with them, or maybe you do agree with them, and just not the way they're enacting. What they're doing.
And it was an interesting thing, and I don't know if it was just an but I didn't feel like I was like, oh, this is all.
That's
sinister,
surprising.
She has whatever, and then when she does have that thing where she's like, "I'm leaving," I'm like, "Oh, cool." That's the first inkling. Then we're going to get some sort of denouement. We're going to get some sort of end character point where we see what she's been after the whole time, and see how she's and it never came.
Yeah.
And then I go, "Oh, interesting," because that latter part, I was like, "Oh, cool, there it is." But then the way she played it, it's kind of like because what she says again, the letter of what she says is not sinister.
Right.
It's just she's making a tough choice.
Yeah.
And I feel like to me the performance is kind of like, she's like, I'm putting on the front that it's a tough choice, and I was like, not necessarily that, but that's what I read it as because of the previous, and I was like, oh, but this is for show, and then we'll see later. It wasn't.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing, and it left me kind of going, I don't think I did, but was that just a misread on my part, or is that a miscue there, or did they just never hit that point or whatever? But if it plays differently in the sub, that's interesting. It's just interesting.
It is interesting. And I also like, I mean, because she is the villain, and
kind of ambiguous in the dub,
and so much so that
Sure.
like,
maybe
towards the end when Ashitaka is saying, he's trying to help both sides, and they're like, whose side is Sky on? You're almost like, well, why aren't you helping Mononoke? But then when you, like, exclusively, but then when you break it back down and you just view everything, and then you see where the movie takes it by the end, the very end of the movie, I just thought that was so bold.
Well, I love,
especially for an animated movie in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, man, this really, it was doing something. And like, even now, this is my first time watching it, and I was just like, that's how I wish more animated movies were.
100%. And like, whatever.
Because I love Pixar and stuff, but even, the most, like, I think Inside Out is probably their most complex movie. Sure. But even then, it still works within the framework, like, hardcore of a children's film.
And Miyazaki characters are never all good or bad. Yeah. I agree. And ambiguous or ambivalent, I think, is an interesting, because I think possibly what the answer is, that it was planted there for that to be taken that way, because that is, I'm talking about in the early goings, we're talking about the lepers, she's taking care of the whatever.
You go one way or another.
Yeah, where you're kind of going like, I suspect her, because the on paper read of this is she's taking care of these people. She's a kind person. To me, the read of it was different, and maybe that's there to kind of go like, and it's almost like almost through Ashitaka's eyes or something, where he's kind of like, I don't know, but it's interesting. It's an interesting thing. What's up, Shotty? But then later, I have something to say later about the sort of ultimate arc of that character. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you so much, Shotty. Lots and lots of love. Sorry, we spent a lot of time talking about other stuff, so I'm just gonna. Boo! Yeah! Thank you so much, my friend, for 29 freaking months. That is a long time. And it is much appreciated. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Libra Fancy. Yeah, how you doing, man? Hope things have been good.
I just thought the setup for this movie...
Oh,
I just
gosh.
loved
it hits the ground running, literally.
Literally, it hits the ground running. I loved... where within like the first 5 minutes, I'm like, I like this kid. I like his elk.
Oh my gosh.
I like the town that he comes from. Even though they kick him out, I love the scene.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Where she is so, like, the elder, she is so kind, and she was like, do you want to know?
Yeah.
And he's so noble, and he's like, yes, and he takes it, and he takes his what she's like, you're gonna die, and he accepts that, and he leaves without complaining.
He cuts his hair.
They
give us this beautiful. They give us this world. Like, talk about world building.
So great.
And I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
But they give us, and we've talked about it so many times, where Miyazaki kind of gives us this sort of like exposition, this explicit exposition that builds the world, but does it in a way that is like, he flat out tells us, but it does not feel tacked on. It does not feel like, I go, give me all this. And he does it, especially in this film. Man, the opening, like 15 minutes of this film, it's like, like what? Like a screenplay, they're like, 15 minutes in, something should happen.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is like, inciting incident, more stuff, boom. And it's like, that's like a whole movie in 15 minutes. And I go, whoa. And it's not like, it doesn't feel packed. It doesn't feel anything. And it goes boom, 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 boom. He goes, and then the elders are talking in that sort of feudal Japanese conference room, whatever. Whatever. And they're like, and they're going. And he's like, what? And he's like, and now, we were driven out by the Westerners. We had to come here to the East. We're growing weaker. But now what? Our last prince must leave and cut his hair and never be seen again. And it just feels like we're being mocked. And then cuts it, and then it just a little cut in time. He's cutting his thing. We just heard that's important, but it hits me. Like, I knew that was. I've known that is symbolic for specifically 1.5 seconds. And I go, dang, he just cut his hair. And he goes, boom. He gets on the thing, starts writing out. His sister comes out. His sister, who I've known for 2.5 seconds. And I go, oh, one of those 3 girls is your sister? All 3 of you your sister? I don't know. Who cares? I care what's going on right now. She goes up and she goes, take that. I'm crying. She goes, I know. She goes, boom, boom, boom. So you don't forget. And he goes, I could never forget you.
Know.
And I go, and that's
that
right.
was the first, because it was it wasn't just that, but it was a culmination of that entire moment.
And the music.
And the music. This is some of the best music I've ever heard in any movie
Absolutely.
ever. I was like, I was listening to the score
Gosh, it's amazing.
in my car because I've been driving around today, and it's stunning.
I know.
It is, and like I always get so excited when I find a new film score that I'm like, cool, I'm gonna listen to this on repeat for like the next 6 months.
Yes.
And I get so stoked about that.
Yeah, and then she goes,
But yes, I cried. That was my first cry, and I was like,
and
we're like 4 minutes in.
Yeah, and Billy Crudup turned, and so I had Billy Crudup on my, so like Billy Crudup, Billy Crudup wants to make you cry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not gonna get me, Billy Crudup. And she goes, so you won't forget me? And he goes, I could never forget you, Anya, or whatever. Kid, whatever.
Yeah.
And she goes, boom, and I go, not there, almost, Crudup, almost. Don't you tiny dancer me? And he goes, boom, and then she goes, just so you don't forget, or like, I just want you to remember me, and I just go, ah! And it just goes boom, and it's like, and I go, it's been 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he goes, rides off. She watches him disappear into the beautiful overgrown trees or whatever. Then it goes to this shot where he is riding this red elk.
Oh, that shot with that music cue.
The music
cues in this movie,
amazing.
when they would do hard cuts to like a gorgeous, like meaningful shot with a beautiful vista,
and holds,
and then a music cue that is so powerful. Yeah. There are so many moments that gave me goosebumps, but that was the first one, and I was just like, "What is?" I was like, "That's what I knew," because I'd already cried. I was like loving everything, and I was like, "This is gonna be I mean, I've loved every movie we've done, but I was like, this is clicking with me so well because like I'm getting chills." Yeah. And like when it cut to that shot, I was like, "Oh, this is it."
And it goes, and he holds for so long, just the perfect amount. You go boom, and you're still seeing it, and and Miyazaki's like, and it's never gratuitous. He just goes,
that shot.
He just goes, no, longer. You want it longer. You want it longer. Here it is, longer.
Yeah.
And there it is. And you just go, gosh, drink it in. And I like, and it hits that moment of him galloping, and I go, motherfucker! I like paused it, looked at my non-existent watch. I was like, I am 12 minutes in, and that is fucking like stone cold, straight up the most heroic shit I have ever seen in my entire life, and I have known this character for 12 minutes.
Yeah, it was so. Like everything about this movie clicked so well.
Gosh,
and like it goes, and like the movie is great, the story is great, the animation is like absolutely stunning. It really goes to show how gosh darn important, or what a vital role music can play.
Oh my gosh.
Because that score is truly one of the most amazing scores. Like in terms of like, you know, that's an epic score. It's one of the best epic scores I've ever heard. And it really elevated something that was already great to that level of like, this is something so beyond special. And like, and it just, I kept waiting for me to have like a criticism or a gripe or something where maybe the movie dipped into something that, you know, because a lot of these movies that we've done, I've loved them all, but they'll go on tangents that were like, that's kind of weird or whatever. And this was so tight and so, and not in like, it's just the narrative was so good. Yeah. And everything was motivated for character decisions, and everything that was beyond like, you know, like very Miyazaki, you know, like with like even like the little what are those called?
Little terrifying cooking timers.
Katanda doll or whatever they're.
The little Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah, those were amazing and
terrifying but adorable.
And utilized so
incredibly well.
Yeah,
totally.
And like when the Nightwalker comes, and that was a whole mind-blowing sequence. But they're like drifting in the trees, and the animation of the wind, like and how the trees move. There are so many moments of beauty on like a character level, a music level, an animation level. Like when they cut to a shot of like 3 stones in the river, and there's like
the spots of the rain.
The
I
spots
wrote
of the
that
rain.
down.
I was like, oh, that
thought-
made me tear up because I was like, that is so.
Yeah.
You would not get that.
I know.
In most, especially an animated movie of the 90s.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's what is making. And there's a lot of that throughout the whole movie.
And I don't even think I've ever. I don't know that I've ever seen that in a live action movie. And then I say that's what Miyazaki does.
I saw it in Saving Private Ryan, and I was like, did they get that from Saving Private, or did Saving Private Ryan get it from this? Because it's almost the same thing. Because I think it's like that, and then the rain starts, and I want to say maybe not. Yeah. Maybe a horse doesn't, or a footprint doesn't like disrupt a puddle, but which is how it is in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
But it's almost the same thing, and they were made around the same. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing with Miyazaki that he continually and consistently and persistently does is he does something that I've never seen in an animated film. Absolutely never seen in an animated film.
Yeah.
And something that I don't, and things that I've like never seen in a live action film, but it's a thing that I recognize intimately from my own life, and it is a small moment. It is something like that. Spotting of rain on a rock and
very human.
And I just go.
And it's that quiet kind of moment that you usually have as a kid or something on your own.
Yeah.
Like it's not a group thing. It's like a personal moment that you have that you can call, but you can like that's the type of shot that is so rare and special that you immediately know what that scene smells like. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It smells like oncoming rain.
Absolutely.
Pre-storm. Like it's, and you know, like the temperature and everything. It's just beautiful.
It's just
this whole movie's filled with that. Like when the Nightwalker comes and the wind starts to. The gorgeous animation of like the canopy of trees of the forest starting to sway was so was moving to me, and it's not just moving like, oh, that's beautiful animation, or that's moving to me because they're lingering on it. It was all that plus it worked in complete unison with the story.
Yeah, it's lyrical, is what
it is,
and it's and just there's just a simple shot of and with that beautiful music, like truly, like as you said, you like if you could put that music over Fair Game, and I would say
I'd be like,
Billy Baldwin is the hero of our time. And but there's that montage where he's just traveling, and there's just a super wide of him traveling across grass, and there is like I'm going to say simple. It's not simple because I cannot do it. But this very simple looking animation of just white lines that show the waves of grass just like kind of moving like an ocean of grass that I've seen in real, in movies. But I just go, oh yeah, that. And it's so simple. It's just these little white lines, and I go, that is so evocative.
And like when the Nightwalker goes into the hole in the trees to become the Nightwalker. I can't remember what they called him before that. Yeah, because they're watching the guards.
Steve.
Yeah, like there goes Steve. Hey guys, I'm gonna go into this hole. And he goes into the hole, and then he turns into like the tree spirit or whatever, or the forest spirit. But they show the wind like going through the canopy, and then it goes onto the water below, and the water ripples outward, and I was just like, that's so unbelievably beautiful.
The story being so tight made me wonder what it was that Weinstein wanted to cut.
30 minutes.
He was like, cut all the
36 minutes.
Cut all the nature shit. Can we get rid of the nature shit?
Like truly, like what he was going to cut out plot for sure, but you would cut out all the nuance and like everything that makes this movie powerful. Guy's a dick.
Yeah, it's a manga thing. They do those small cuts to seemingly mundane things, but they establish the scenes so well. They really do. It's really just those wonderful quiet moments. There is so much going on in this movie, and so much they have to tell you. They have to tell you, not like they have to tell you, that they have to communicate to you that it is astounding that it is tight and moves so well and doesn't feel like there's a bit of wasted energy or wasted narrative. I mean, it's filling in an entire folklore and legend and myth and world and several worlds and several communities and so many characters, and it just goes and it all
it's
feels
juggling 3 storylines, and everything is so like I love the boars. And I love how like the dialogue that they have where they're just like, won't they, like they say something is like the humans are going to do this, and he's like, yes, and that's going to make them angry, and when they get angry they get stupid.
Yes.
And I was just like, yeah, that's fucking true.
Yeah.
Like that's
Oh.
a universal truth. It's like get them angry,
Yeah.
and they're gonna get stupid.
And this is a movie where this is a film where I mean I think just about every character is relatable almost. you
Yeah.
know? Or just the main ones that are going through, like, none of them are perfect.
No. Yeah, even the boars, like like I just love that you can understand.
Yeah.
He just posits. He's like, here's why they're doing what they're doing. You could probably agree with a lot of it. You can disagree with some of it, and I just love that they had proper in their own worlds noble motivations for everything they were doing. The gorillas,
totally.
in the trees. The boars had their reasons. And it was more about analyzing, like the villainry came from how they went about
processing their anger, really
processing their anger, and then not being able to turn the other cheek, essentially.
Absolutely.
And then once one person did something, the other person retaliated, and it was just about. I mean, they talk about hatred so much in the movie. It's just great.
And I think
I'm buying this one for sure.
You're absolutely right. I think it is the concept of turning the other cheek. I think so much of it is. I mean, I think it's often taken, rightly so, as I mean, not even like I was going to say an environmental allegory. It's not even an allegory. It's like a straight up like.
Yeah.
It's just like this what's going on, humans versus nature. But it is. I mean, obviously that. But it even more to me. It is a constant question, like a constant question about the justification for violence. When is violence justified? And you see each character struggle with that. For some characters, it's like, I don't have like right now. Like it's just I do not need a justification. We've been oppressed and treated terribly for years. They're destroying our home. We're gonna go and kill them. Mononoke is a little like she's like slightly dialed back. She's like, don't fight. I hate humans though, and they piss me off one more time. They're by the way, man, she's like a nightmare. Like, dude, she could kill Batman.
When she was riding into the Iron Town.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing.
And she was on the roof and like just hopping to and fro, and they're firing at her. She had a freaking knife, and she was just that's so cool.
The sound on that. It's amazing.
And she had the mask on. That was so badass.
It's incredible. She's amazing. She went and I literally was like, Batman would be dead.
Yeah.
She could kill Batman.
Yeah.
And then what's so interesting about our main character, actually talking. I mean, well, he's our protagonist. I mean, we see it through. He is. Yeah. And his position is, and it's tremendously. It's such a simple thing, and that we're all taught as children, but it is such a revolutionary thing to see in a film where he's just going, I want to do no harm as much as possible. I don't want to cause violence. I don't want to hurt anyone if I don't have to. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Fucking head flies off.
Oh, that was so.
That was amazing. So
that
many
happened,
things
and I was just so not like. I think they shot an arm off first, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And I was like, because I was just not. I mean, I was very attuned to.
Yeah.
I was like, this is. I knew it was going to be a more adult movie, but I was not expecting that. And then he immediately takes another arrow, and it was an arrow.
Yeah.
So I was not.
Yeah.
Like
it's perfect.
I was just like, okay, maybe it'll show an eye or something.
Yeah.
His head fell off.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
Just goes, whoop.
And I loved it because, and I loved the infected arm thing and how that played. And I just loved that there was
turns into jelly.
Like, what a perfect justification, because it's like, it's just like, well, it's just the infected arm, and and it's where it justifies not only the head falling off because of the power, but it also doesn't make you think it doesn't make you hate his character or anything, because you're like, well, he's infected, so
totally.
Which is like for me, I was just like, oh my god, that's such a great.
Yeah, it's so funny, and the thing is, and he's like, I was joking that this is there's a thing in video games called a pacifist run, where you try to.
Yeah.
He is pacifist run the movie. He makes this movie because he's like, he just goes, and it's so funny too, because even he succumbs to it, because I say every character struggles with it, because he goes, don't make me, and then he goes, and then he just goes, shoot. But like, it's so funny because he lops the first dude's arm off, and I love I love how it happens. First of all,
He's shocked.
yeah, and he goes, huh? And then he goes, well, hold on, I'll deal with this later. And lops
Oh no,
it.
the guy who lops his arm, like the guy. I love the animation of the guy holding up his arm because he can't believe that his arm's gone.
And he shot. Well, he shoots. Didn't he shoot the first one? He shoots two guys, guys both his arms, and he pins them to a tree.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember that? And he goes boom, and they just like flop like jelly.
Oh, shit.
And you go, what
What?
world is this? And but then you go, right, that happened. And then he goes shoot, and it just goes and like pops the guy's head off. And it's amazing because in the hands of a lesser or different director, not even necessarily lesser, but this is the way to do it. He goes, I'm cursed, and one of the elders goes, yes, you're cursed. It will spread throughout your body. It may give you tremendous strength. And some things like they prepare us for it or something.
Yeah.
They don't prepare us for
Yeah.
it. They go shoot, and we go, and we have the exact same reaction the character has, which you go, what the
Yeah.
huh? And then I go, is this how this movie works?
Yeah.
Is that how arrows work in this world? No, because I saw the whoop, and you go, okay, cool, and you're catching up as the movie's going, and you go bum 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 bum, and then lops the dude's head off in like a super wide,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
It's awesome.
Because you just go, I mean, it's you are the character, and you go, and you go,
Yeah.
did that just happen?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And he does it.
And he does it again, like later.
Yeah,
in the
again
movie,
in a super wide.
after Yakul, his elk gets wounded, which was I loved that elk.
Yeah, I saw that elk. The minute I saw that elk, almost, I was like, that elk is fucked. That elk is gonna die.
When he got wounded,
didn't, though, yeah.
and then he didn't, but he was like, you need to stay here, and then he wouldn't stay, and he was like, all right, come on, my friend. And like they were like walking together, and he was limping, and he goes, "You're gonna be okay, my friend." And I was like,
Yeah. No, yeah, Artax.
Yeah, but then and then but then they get they're like going over the mountaintop, and then like two samurai come around the bend, and it's another arrow scene, and he's like, "Stop, don't," and it's what makes his kills so not satisfying, but you're just like. There's something about him not wanting to do it and then doing it and then it being awesome.
Yes, it is. It is.
And it's awesome. And it's cool because they do it again there where his head just goes.
And then
it's in a super wide from his perspective. And it's just awesome. And the other guy's like, oh.
Yeah. And he goes, again in a super wide. But the fucking like that, because we already saw him do amazing stuff. And then it comes up and you go, oh, is he going to do amazing stuff? Or he just lops the one dude's arm off and goes, boom, boom, boom. And sticks in the air, and then the other guy goes, prior to this, the most amazing fucking badass awesome thing I've ever seen with an arrow is in Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, which is a very secure place in my heart, where a dude gets hit with a flaming arrow, and he has to go. And then Robin he's running, and maybe the kid is going to hang, and he just goes, looks for an arrow, grabs a flaming arrow out of the dude's chest, goes like this, knocks it, and just like this, and then it goes, cuts to in front of him, and it goes, as an explosion detonates behind him, and he lets go of a flaming arrow in front of an explosion, and it goes, and spins through and cuts the kid down, and I just go, oh my gosh, that was never rivaled until this, where he goes boom, the dude shoots an arrow, the kid catches it.
Oh, that was so cool.
Catches it, goes.
He does it so quick.
But like, and you see his face the whole time, and he just goes, and that's the thing. So like, those are the two extremes because Robin Hood Prince of Thieves is like dun dun dun, and it's like the music's going, he goes boom boom, cut, boom, slow motion.
Yeah.
Awesome. This one goes, you see his face, there may not even be music. He just goes.
I don't think there is. Yeah.
He just goes. Boom, boom, or he goes. Trip, track, boom.
Yeah.
And you just go. Oh! And I like screamed. That
was so cool. And there's so many moments like that. And what I love about this is like, because I love a good badass moment.
Yeah.
I hate when it's badass for the sake of being badass. And even now after watching this, I'm not sure where that line is that goes from that's solely badass for just you want it to be that way, but it works completely for every character in this movie. And I don't know if it's just rooted in characterization and justification, but like that is an overt Legolas moment. And I feel like Lord of the Rings, and I love the Lord of the Rings, but they set up badass moments for him constantly. And this one just felt completely
utilitarian.
organic. Yeah.
He just goes, what's the
Utilitarian,
quickest way to do this?
Yeah.
Boom, what do I do with this? Flip it over. And he just tracks him. And his face is totally blank. And he goes, shoop, shoop.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, there's no anything. He doesn't think anything of
But
it.
it's
He doesn't
not,
even
it's
want to
not
do
bad.
it.
His face isn't like,
It's practical.
it's practical.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's focusing on doing it as opposed to like Legolas,
Yeah.
you know, doing it with his eyes closed for
And then
just 'cause he
tossing his hair and going Pantene Pro V.
Yeah,
it's just like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just...
And I love those moments too, but it's so much more, it's just so much better when you see Princess Mononoke invading Iron Town and doing the things she's doing, and you're buying it, but there's like almost a desperation to it as well.
Yeah.
And yet it's just motivated badassery.
Yeah.
It's very hard to explain why it works, but it does.
And I think, and again, just to be clear, I'm not saying that the other, sort of the indulgent, the slow motion kind of thing.
Those are awesome.
Those are also awesome. Give me an American Robin Hood. No,
Yeah.
no, and the other thing is that is also justified. It's also justified to do awesome stuff. Whatever, it's fine. But that is that's a very dramatic point that leads up, and that is the culmination of it. Like, oh no, these kids have been hanging, or the people have been hanging, and it just goes, and it's a climactic thing.
Yeah.
This was more of like a,
Yeah.
and then you just go, oh, by the way, he can do that. Oh my gosh.
And I think you're right. I don't think there's music underneath it. Or
I don't
if there
think so
is
either.
music, it's not underscoring the moment.
Absolutely not.
And that's what makes it work so well, yeah.
The worms are like Bloodborne level body horror gross. Yes, absolutely, they're horrifying.
Oh, the animation on this is so beautiful.
Yeah,
though.
and it's so great, and it's so, you know how, okay, this is something, because you know how I flipped out about things being, in the past I flipped out about things being functional and their function being clear, and it taking me out of the film, and that happens. In this film, we open with that inciting incident of the pig, of the boar with the curse or whatever. Boom, 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 boom. Late in the game, we have voiced by Keith David, the king of boars.
Cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's great because you might hear it and go, Keith David. Oh, what an obvious. No, it's amazing.
Wow,
it's amazing. Keith David. Oh gosh, amazing. And
that's cool.
And when they go, do, you don't want to get cursed. You don't want to get cursed. And then those again. Like, I was like, are those human beings under those, those pig
awesome.
slugs? That's horrifying because they're moving so
Because
quickly.
in any other movie, they would have cut to the inside, even after she's like, those are humans in there. And then you would cut to the inside.
And you go like,
humans.
are they?
They don't until, like, she's like, those are humans, it's a trick.
Yeah.
But they never cut to it.
Yeah,
so
I'm like, you're wrong, dude.
I think you might be wrong, too, which is a brilliant way at creating even more suspense on top of what's already happening.
And then they come up and I actually am still kind of confused as to how they transferred whatever the curse was to him, because it came up and then he had the demon thing, you know. Those little pig slugs that were humans came up to the boar and kind of went group, and then he went like, it's like they gave it to him.
Oh yeah.
Which I was like, how if they're humans? Because I was like, they're not humans, man. And then they were like, hey, we got to get out of here. And I was like, wait, they are humans. But regardless, so we'll get to that in a second. But they go boom, and then he starts going, and you go, oh dang, because it's already, you know what that means.
Yeah.
You know what it means. He doesn't have to do terrible. He does. He doesn't have to do terrible shit. He could just, all he has to do is look menacing and whatever, and you already know, you're preloaded with that information.
Yeah.
And that is functional stuff that you do not realize you're being scaffolded with.
Yeah.
It just goes boom, boom, boom. You've got this. You've forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Now it's a memory, and you go, I know exactly what that means. Oh shit. And that is fucking masterful storytelling.
It really is.
And then they up the stakes, because you don't just go, oh man, because there are movies that do that. And you go boom, and then they go boom, and you go, oh, okay, you're doing that. I get it. Now I know what that is. She gets knocked in the back of the head. She falls into it, and I go, what?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Is she part of it? Is she
Yeah.
getting whatever? And then you go, okay, she's just trapped in it. And then it comes through her hand. And you go,
Yeah,
wait a second.
that
What the
freaked
fuck?
me out.
You're like, this is not okay.
This is a good point. The curse started on the first boar with the iron bullet inside of him. Human material and his anger made the curse. That's right. So what happened?
Yeah, so it
they were
kind of felt
coming
like
up
that.
and they probably they were doing the dart thing, and then that pissed them off.
Yeah.
And that's what triggered it. So
Gotcha.
yeah, that's yeah.
Otherwise, try to kill the blind
Right.
bugs and makes. And it sort of felt
Good
like
point.
that it
Thank
was
you.
his reaction to it. Yeah. My rewatch the other day was with your kid, and he glommed on that right away. He was really worried about the human pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, those, because they go, and you go, your first thought is like, they're humans.
Yeah.
Oh, mine was because they're like, boop, and then they crawl over, and you go, what?
Oh, mine wasn't that. I was just like,
was like,
they didn't have eyes, and I was like,
Yeah.
and then they started slithering, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't.
And they're
like
moving so
that.
fast, but then it's honestly,
Because they're moving on the ground, like they're just gliding. Ugh,
and it's
awesome. But
it's brilliant that it's honestly brilliant in retrospect the way they do it, because I go, those aren't humans. They're not moving like humans. They're moving too quickly. And then, but they don't put it. They don't put it in the same shot as the boar very often. I feel like they avoid it so you don't have perspective. Because I was watching it going, no, because a human can't do that. And then I go, unless it's larger than I realize, and there are several humans in there, and they're running.
Yeah.
And I go,
'Cause
oh,
they're
that might
fucking
work.
huge.
Yeah. And like, because it's
So
like
it's two, yeah.
and you don't see it next to the big boar, and then even when you do, you go, cool. Wait, how big is the boar?
Right.
It's brilliant, because if they showed you immediately, you'd be like, nah, it's too small to be human. That's too
It's on
whatever.
his belly, yeah.
And that's kind of what they trick you into thinking, or trick me into
Yeah.
thinking. I go, that's a human can't do that on its
Yeah.
knees. And then I go, wait, maybe it's like 2 or 3 dudes in like it's
Yeah.
like a convoy, and I think that's what it.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, you just didn't give me that information,
Yeah.
and you're brilliant for it. It's
Yeah.
not a mistake. It's perfectly on purpose. Yeah, it's so tense for no reason. Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting that iron is the cause of the curse originally. Yeah, iron is a Western folklore associated with warding off the occult. But in this is the infection of the boar with, I assume, refined technological element used by humans in weaponry. Yeah, and I think it's I mean, I don't think it's representative of progress in technology and all that stuff. The minute they go, the minute that old lady, that like elder, the like chief matriarch of the village at the beginning, is like something. She says, gosh, it's the first thing I wrote down. She's like, there's evil at work in the land of the West. And I go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to make me feel bad. This is going to be all about Americans fucking up everything, which by all rights, it should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, it's
but a lot of, you could read that as just like
Totally.
Western invention and Western technology and you know, and just European technology in general.
Yeah.
It was
Western
just all,
everything.
it was all handled so tactfully.
Yeah. And so, but I mean, like, and I don't think that was like he knew, like I don't think that's a mistake, and he knew it was going out to Western audiences, and I think it's
great,
it's
and
fantastic.
I think it's so, because to me, it's one of the hardest things to do, but it's also my favorite thing to see in a movie that has a very specific goal in terms of its message, and then delivering that message in a way where because I think the worst thing you can do is preach to an audience and tell them this is the message here is the right thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what I love about this movie is that I think it does have a message, but it also it burns it into all these different characters with all their own motivations that you can agree with on some level. So you walk away from it hoping not for let nature take its course. It's more on the lines of like, how do we coexist together?
Right.
And not even in a world peace type of way, but just like I hope we can learn, these characters can learn how to find a balance somehow.
And
And that's so hard to do. It's hard to do, especially when you're doing something like this, where it's like an environmentalism type thing, and you don't want to go, like, it's just, you can go overboard so quickly that it'll turn people off.
Totally.
And like, this just rooted it so much into story and folklore and mysticism and things like that, that it just found this balance that I just thought it was so brilliant.
Yeah.
I really thought this movie was brilliant.
And it's great too because Ashitaka, at least for me, like I go, oh well, he's clearly his is the way. Because like ideally we want all this, we want to coexist, we want to have these conversations, we want to mend these disagreements and these conflicts without hurting each other, and everyone's just too pissed off, which makes perfect sense and is far too relevant in our current world. But you go, clearly he's the right dude. But he kind of like occasionally he gives in when he has to violence, and also he fails because like he can't save people, he can't whatever, and they're like you let this happen because you were trying to keep people from from you didn't want to do violence to people, and it's like it's that thing where it's like, well, sometimes if someone is, I mean, is there a line where you need to kind of like cut someone down if they're going to do harm to someone
like
else or
criticism of the
themselves or something?
pacifist way,
Yeah. I mean, so that's in there as well. I mean, to me, to my thinking, Ashitaka is set up to kind of be like, well, he's right, you know.
Yeah, right.
But he's not. He doesn't emerge unscathed either. I mean, it has a message, but you don't feel the deliverer of the message didn't understand the context or other perspectives. It makes it harder to discount. Absolutely, this definitely speaks to the introduction of firearms to the Japanese by Europeans and Americans to some degree, especially since IRL that was an historically forced interaction. See Perry Expedition. Interesting. So, hey, Frumpe. Like the West flat out said, you're trading with us or we're demolishing your cities to ruins using our stuff. I mean, probably to no surprise, I'm like, besides the huge and terrible things the United States specifically did to Japan and to Japanese people in Japan and living here, I'm pretty woefully ignorant of sort of the imperial or colonial wrongs that we've visited upon the Japanese people in Japan. I mean, there's a laundry list a
podcast, and watching this movie makes me want to go back and finish it. It's called Hardcore History, and all like 5-hour like deep dives into World War II or the Russian front during World War II or Genghis Khan. Like he'll just devote like 5-hour episodes made up of like 6 or 7 episodes, and he'll go through an entire thing. His most recent one that I started and I was just like, I'm not ready to get into this because it's going to be like 30 hours. But it's about the Eastern, the Pacific campaign of World War II, and he starts it. And starts diving into how, because he goes years and years and years back, like into like the early 1900s, or the early 20th century, to establish how the the resentment of the West began. And it's Dan Carlin, and it's just fucking crazy. And so
Oh, that's just sort of
proud to be in America, but you're like, but boy, can you understand why so many people don't like Americans.
Well, and it's crazy, and this is how history. I mean, I'm of history anyway. The Brits were pretty bad, but the Dutch worse. And I go, oh yeah, right. Because back then in feudal Japan, it wasn't the Americans.
Yeah,
we didn't exist.
Yeah,
and so like I feel like a lot of times we go like, oh, we didn't exist. We didn't do all that terrible shit. We don't even know about it. And they go, buddy, we caught up quick.
Yeah,
as soon as we existed, we started doing terrible shit. Now I'm not saying. Like all nations have histories of terrible things, and people are often terrible to each other. We're often kind to each other as well. But and I'm not saying other nations didn't. And like you said, I love my country, whatever that means. I mean, I do love being here. I love whatever. But good gravy. When people are like, Americans, fuck you. I go, I get it.
Oh yeah,
we got a lot of reasons.
I don't even like what's going on now. Like it's hard now.
It is.
And we won't go into that.
Incredibly hard.
But it's hard now to be like proud to be. You know what I mean?
Because of the end of Game of Thrones. I mean, so many people. I've never seen the end of Game of Thrones. I think I would probably love it. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
I was gonna do the same thing.
Oh, let's do it. Let's both do it at the same time.
Cross streams.
Yeah. Do you wanna go first? You can go.
No, you go ahead.
Please.
No, go. You're up. Go.
All right. Grab it.
Feudal Japan was relatively cut off, wouldn't trade with the West except I think for the Dutch, but the Perry Expedition was the inciting incident where it basically traded with us at gunpoint. It's interesting. Like, I don't know why this clicked with me so much. I want to find more movies about it. It's why I want to revisit the Tom Cruise vehicle, Last Samurai. But I just remember watching that movie and how the historical backdrop is the turning point where they started to use weapons, like machine guns in particular, during battle, and how, the Last Samurai, and like it was despite how good of warriors they were, it was no match for just modern warfare. And I thought that was a really great original idea. Then I watched, it's either Kajimusha or Ran. I can't remember which one it is. One of those Kurosawa color films, because I was doing a deep Kurosawa deep dive, and like that whole third act is about that. It almost ends the exact same way Last Samurai ends. And I was like, oh, they just lifted it from Ran or Kajimusha, whichever one it is. I think it's Kajimusha. Where all these noble warriors like go up against like 100 machine guns and they just get slaughtered. And so this is a really fascinating, pre-post industrial revolution. And so when I started watching this movie and I was like, oh, it's called Iron Town. I could immediately see where they were going with it, and they started using these really primitive guns and everything. I don't know, that was just right up my alley, and I think it's so fascinating to me because it really made, you just went from like, you almost had to have some talent to kill someone pre-gunpowder.
Oh gosh.
To just being it, like, it just made killing so easy.
If I could, like, honestly, if I could just get every scientist in the world to work on, this is, gosh, we kind of veered away from controversial. But if I could get every scientist in the entire world, every Nobel Peace Prize, Nobel scientist, just get together and invent something that worked kind of like an EMP.
Yeah.
And just go boop and just obliterate everything that was a gun, a bomb, anything above a knife.
Yeah.
I'd be like, do it. I do it in secret. Don't let anyone know you're doing it, and then just hit it.
You just you had to be skillful.
Yeah.
Like it was,
and then you deserved to murder someone.
But it was such a more, and then with the atomic bomb, it's such a double-edged sword because it's like, well, that's the most scary thing we could have made, but then it also, what's the term for it? It's so scary that no one ever wants to use it.
Right, it's a deterrent, right? Yeah.
Is that what it's like? Isn't there like a specific name, like nuclear? Is that what it's called? Just nuclear deterrent?
Yeah, or
I feel like there's like a phrase for the fact that like
biggie boom boom.
Yeah, nukes are so scary that no one wants to use them.
Yeah,
but
mutual assured destruction. There you go.
Yeah.
Archers are trained from birth. Yeah. Exoskeleton show adaptations using longbows and yumis. Wow, that's freaking crazy.
Did you? Yeah, like the who are Genghis Khan?
The Mongols.
Yeah, they were taught from birth. Yeah, from birth, and they could shoot on horseback by the time they were like 5, and they were just and like hitting targets from like hundreds of yards away, and you're like, oh my god.
Can you imagine like the wealth of like graphic design talent that was lost among the Mongols? Seriously, there are people born like who, like, I'm not joking, or like EDM musicians. Like there are people with inborn talent, like geniuses that were born, and we never knew because the technology was, and they are all conscripted into being archers.
Yeah. I think about that all the time during like mass warfare, where I'm just like, how many people were killed in World War II or World War I?
True, yes.
Where you're just like, what that person could have accomplished had they not died.
I was kind of joking, but yes, absolutely.
Oh.
No. Like, no. What I'm saying,
really mean.
what I'm saying is like, absolutely, yes, that's true.
Classic Puerto Rican humor.
No. Yeah. I was gonna walk in and be like, "We're talking about Slowpoke Rodriguez in here." All that great EDM music lost in time, like "Tears in Rain," which I'm sure is an EDM song, like that, like specifically that Rutger Hauer soundbite. Hey, do you need to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
You're like,
I just want to tell you a really cool story from that Dan Carlin podcast about the Mongols.
Do it.
And he opened an episode where I think he opened the entire series where he was talking about, like, I think it was a priest visiting a town that had recently. He was just passing through to a next town, but as he approached the town, there was fire and stuff, and it had been sacked by the Mongols. And as he got closer and closer, he saw a structure that he was not familiar with, and it was white. And he had been to this town before, but he had never seen the structure before, and it was like it looked like almost like a pyramid. And he kept getting closer and closer, and then once he got up to it, and he realized it wasn't a building, it was a pyramid full of bones.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And it was the bones of the people in this city.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the major cities of that era that they had completely destroyed, like leveled, and just complete and like
and
raped
then like
and pillaged and just
and then
just killed.
OCD stacked like an IKEA store for some reason. Like
I just thought,
well, don't
and he
don't
just
let it
such
be
a-
said we're not.
And I mean that story he elongates out to like a dramatic
Right.
10 minutes, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a great podcast if anybody likes history. It's
I
really well worth listening to.
I would love to listen. Yeah, guys. Well, let's talk about something too while Jeff goes to the bathroom. What do you guys think about Jeff? Should we keep him on? What's the deal? Hi, Jeff. Nothing. Just still tears and rain.
Did you get my cold?
I think they really like you. They're not sure about this guy, me. I love Justin Timberlake. Please keep inviting him. Jeff Bourne, more of that. Yeah. Let's get back to Princess Mononoke and try to get through as much of it as we can before Jeff gets back. That's pretty cool. I've naturally spoken about everything on my list so far. Oh yeah. When the limbs start flying, he's like shoo, 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 shoo. Which do you have more fun saying, Mononoke or Totoro? Man, Totoro. Because then you can go Totoro, Totoro, Totoro. I need to watch Totoro. I really want to watch Totoro, and I really want to watch Porco Rosso. This is my fetish. I really want to watch Porco Rosso. Porco Rosso is supposed to be awesome. You also go Michael Jackson. Princess Mononoke, Mononoke, Mononoke. I think I've seen like trailers or something. Or porn parodies. That's what I've seen. Oh, never mind. That's a bad joke. Because I just realized it's a big monster. And yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Just a joke that, you wish you could have it back. Totoro is definitely the one to check out with a young kid. Yes. Dude, we like, man, she like on the daily, on the reg. Is this cool? Is that me on? Dab. She goes like, we pretend she'll be like, I'm Kiki and you're Gigi, and I'm like, all right, I'm Gigi, and she goes, I think maybe I've said that before, but she's like,
she's always Gigi though, right?
No, I'm Gigi.
Oh,
yeah, she's Kiki, and she goes,
that's so cool.
It is, yeah, it's adorable. We watched more of it today.
Cool.
And
she really likes it then.
She really does like it. Well, she hasn't seen the end of it.
Yeah.
And she does, and she hasn't. Actually, we skipped around accidentally. She did watch the end of it today. I was like, "Are you worried?" And she's like, "I don't like that boy." I was like, "All right, well, he's imperiled in a Zeppelin accident, so maybe you'll enjoy that part." But she's like, but yeah. She goes, "I'm Kiki," and she's like, "And you're Gigi." And I go, "Kiki, are you okay?" I do my
You feel happy?
What's that?
Nothing.
You feel hard? Yeah. Yes.
That was my Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to get me to do it again because it was bad.
Do it.
No.
Please.
What's something he says?
I'm Troy McClure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. I'm gonna fart, and the problem is that like they have been really bad today. Like
What? Like they're stinky?
yeah, like horrible. I'm gonna try to hold it in. Hold on, I'm gonna try. My cursed arm is telling me to do it, but I'm not going
Like
to.
fart into the sheet.
Yeah. Farting to the sheet, my friend. Yeah, I don't know. It totally. I think.
Felt like a lyric.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids love Totoro. Can I ask Jeff if he's seen the first season of True Detective? Because I think he'd dig it, and I want to talk about it. Can we do that for filmography? Come on, man. Lover went for a bathroom break the other day and came back like 30 minutes later and told us he'd just been in there wiping the entire time. That is true. It's a true fucking story.
I have seen I've only seen the first season. I really dug it. I'm a big fan of Cary Fukunaga.
Yeah, man.
Like I think he's one of the best directors.
Sin nombre.
Sin nombre. Oh,
Without
jealous and envious and just angry at how good. It's like that was like I had the same reaction like when I saw Coen Brothers Blood Simple. I'm like, you just came out fully formed
of
like
the
that.
womb, shooting
Just
arrows
shooting
and
masterpieces.
shooting
I was just like,
blood simple.
But no, I really, really like it. It's
Beast of No Nation.
Beast of No Nation.
Oh, we watched that together.
We did, yeah.
It was
fantastic movie, beautiful
super
soundtrack.
fun.
Like
We were eating Doritos, really fun.
cracking a lot of
it's-
jokes.
It was we were like good. Man.
He's so talented. I'm disappointed that he's doing the new James Bond movie because he does such interesting material that I wish he would be continuing to do original content. It was the same thing. Like when Sam Mendes decided to do 2 James Bond, I was like, he did Skyfall. I loved Skyfall. Like I loved it to death. I thought it was like one of the best James Bond movies ever made. And then I was like, now go back to doing something original because you are so talented as a director that I want talented directors to not get sucked into doing franchise shit.
Yeah. Did you want Away We Go too?
I loved that movie.
I really liked that movie. That honestly,
That thing made me.
Yeah.
It has one of the best monologues I've ever heard in my entire life.
is it Chris Messina?
It's in the strip club.
Yes.
It's
I
one
love-
of the. But do you
I
ever,
love that actor. And
Have you ever done
because of
that? Like as a for an like I don't
No.
know.
No.
Do people ever ask you for like acting auditions where you can just choose a monologue?
Very, very, very rarely anymore. But yeah,
because
I love that. And
It's one of the best. Like in a perfect.
incredible.
I was like, oh my
And
god,
what a
I
read.
should tell every actor ever to do this
Yeah.
if it's ever an opportunity because it makes me cry.
I love it.
Deep.
That's so
like
funny.
from a deep level.
Yeah.
And I memorized it. Like when it first came out, I just thought it was such a brilliant monologue.
It really is. Do it.
I'll do it right now.
Do it.
No,
Do
I
it
can't.
as Phil
It
Hartman.
was years ago, and I'll do it as Phil Hartman.
Please do.
It's like, and what is that main line? It's like they grow and then they fade.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
I'm gonna
it
cry,
is.
dude.
It's so
forgot what it was
beautifully-
about.
Who wrote that? Who wrote that movie?
Cary Fukunaga? I don't know. No, I don't. I really don't know.
Because the whole time he's talking about they're in a
It's so
strip
good.
club and his wife who had a miscarriage. And
Yes,
he's talking
she's
about his wife
dancing
and
and
he's
it's
talking about the
so-
loss of a child and the beauty of parenthood, though.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ah. Anyways, first scene is True Detective, really good.
Yeah.
Made better by his sheer style and cinematography.
That-
Truly.
That
But it's a good series. Yeah.
it's crazy because
I
I
had some,
I brought up Away We Go almost as a joke, but I also really love it.
Mm.
And then I was like, we're gonna talk about Away We Go, and then I'm gonna bring up Christmas scene and be like, do you know what Christmas scene is? And we're gonna talk about that scene.
Mhm.
You went right to that scene.
Yeah.
That is
It's a stunning scene.
beautiful. And that actor, I love that dude.
And
He's
it's like
amazing.
it's a great Sam Mendes movie, but to me that might be the best scene he's ever made of all his movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's might be my favorite Sam Mendes movie.
Yeah.
Kerry Joji is also ridiculously handsome. Have you met? Yes, I met him.
Yeah.
I met him and I interviewed
You met him?
I interviewed him.
Yeah, he's like a model.
He's and he's like ways too. He's like stupid cool. He's like
Yeah.
ridiculously
Yeah.
cool, and he's like, oh yeah, this and that. And he's like a nice dude, and he's like, I just graduated from UCLA, and like Sin Nombre was my like senior thesis.
Yeah.
And I go, gah,
Yeah.
bull.
Yeah.
And I go, well,
Yeah.
and I got arrested.
And then he's like, you got, and then he hugs you.
He goes,
and you're
no,
like,
no.
Come on, man.
He goes, don't take him away. Don't take him. Hold on.
Yeah.
Give me a good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the best way to handle it.
Dang it.
Uh,
The Bond girl of Skyfall has a cameo in Twin Peaks: The Return. Is kind of an insane. Who's the Bond girl? It's like Monica Bellucci. Did they put her in? Isn't she a Bond girl in one of the latter ones?
she's in the second Sam Mendes one. What is that called?
Spectre?
Spectre. And they were like, yeah, she's the Bond girl. And I'm like, no, she's not. She's in it, and she has a nice scene, but she's not the Bond girl.
Berenice Marloje. Oh, okay. Twin Peaks. Yes. Oh yeah, I watched Firewalk with Me, which is the Twin Peaks. So when we do David Lynch, I think that's a good one to kind of like cover the Twin Peaks thing, unless we wanted to do a separate Twin Peaks whatever.
It keeps because it's on the Criterion Channel stream thing.
Firewalk with Me is.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
it's
Is it great?
yeah, it's boy oh boy.
I keep wanting to watch it, but I'm like, no, I need to watch season 2
Yeah.
first.
And I
I
didn't.
want to watch season 2 first.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. But yeah, we watched it the other day. It was, woo! Yeah. It's
Maybe I'll also go home and start watching Twin Peaks.
crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I know. I need to finish season 2. Okay. Back to Princess Mononoke. Let's see. Here, where were we? We kind of organically we covered all my
Cool.
So, ooh, I love when he goes, and this is early, when he goes and he sees the thing and he's like, a war, or he's like, a battle. No, a massacre. And they're just like these tiny glints of steel that show you that the swords are clashing. It's great. It's freaking awesome.
I love the scene when he hears the gunfire or the bombs going off.
Oh yeah.
And he's walking in the rain, and then it parts for a second, and he sees the cliff top where all the gunfire's going on, and then the clouds come back in and the rain returns. I was just like, you don't remember that?
I missed that somehow.
It's real simple, real quick.
Drank a lot. Yeah.
You off the wagon?
I was just waiting for more heads to fly. Heather, release the missing pieces cut. Oh yeah. I watched that scene, and part of it ended up. So now we're back on Firewalk with Me. Part of it did end up in the movie, but like you're right, most of that was not in the movie. Gosh,
That's why I'm having a hard time getting into like starting season 2, because I keep hearing that it's not as good as season 1. And they're like, but it's not good. It's not bad. It's solid. A lot of people say solid, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I'm dragging my feet on it.
You like season 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta watch it because people. Yeah, it's hard to compare the seasons to it. Logo, I had a look and it cuts me to Firewalk. Man, Blu-ray was integrated, so I forgot it. I only saw a full Bowie scene. Oh yeah. That Bowie scene is nuts. Sorry.
Can someone answer for me? Is season 2 full Lynch? Like, did he have full creative control?
I think some of them were not. I think others.
I thought I read
was
that
not directed by him, and he
at
was
all?
like, and yeah, part of it.
And he wasn't really involved. I think
Part of
that's
it.
where I'm dragging my feet on it.
I think that's what happened.
Wait, no.
No, like he didn't. Yeah, no, you can tell where he came back for the. it's like From Dusk Till Dawn. They got like.
There's a hard
Yeah,
shift.
it's like Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. Then let's do a thing that he and Mark Frost didn't want to do. Oh yeah, and we talked about that. It's way more of a crazy dream reality. Yeah.
With the return is full.
Full
Okay,
Lynch.
cool.
Yeah, I gotta see
Cool.
that. So here the thing is, I think we've talked a bit about this, and I think, man, like, so Miyazaki, and I have some latter thoughts. I have some latter thoughts on this film, but Miyazaki, like we've talked about. I mean, I think he's not only. I think I take him out of the. Like, people are like, oh, he's one of the greatest animation directors of all time. And I go, I take him out of that. He's just one of the greatest filmmakers I've ever seen. Like, bar none. Like, I think you don't name like 10, 12 filmmakers without him, like, of any kind, without him going in there. And a huge part of that is his facility and his perspicacity with moments, just moments.
Yes.
Of all types, right? So quiet moments, small moments. There are these little things. I just love these, and it's just there's a little spice on the end of it that just kind of makes you go, huh? There's a little something. There's a little more depth. One of them, these are kind of more obvious ones, but like when he speaks to the monk, and the monk sends him off, and then it kind of. He goes. There's a place up in the valley or whatever where the deities roam and they're giants like they used to be or whatever. And he sends him off and he's like asleep. And then he kind of goes, "I'll see you there, my friend." You know.
Yeah.
And you go, cool. And at that point, I go, he's a benevolent friend, and he will be there to help. And then, like, in retrospect, you go, oh, like, they plagued me. And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I thought. I thought he was gonna be. I thought he was gonna be like the in Ninja Scroll. There's like an older ninja who's playing he's more jaded and playing both sides type thing. But I thought he was gonna be like that. He's not.
Yeah.
He kind of is, but not really.
Yeah.
He's just out for he wants the thing. He wants the head.
Yeah, which is crazy. Logo and AO Jeff, have you seen the clip of Miyazaki being shown some AI created animation by a studio? He completely shreds them for creating something so inhuman. No. That sounds.
I want to watch that.
Like he goes, oh.
Can we watch that real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I wanna watch
Oh, boy. And it's dubbed over by Joe.
Were they
by
like
Joe
showing it
Pesci.
to him like they were proud?
Oh.
人工知能で動きを学習させた CG を見せてくれるそうです。
これ踊ってるように見えますけど、でこれは早く移動するっていうのを学習させたやつなんですね。これ頭を使って移動してるんですけど。
Moving by using its head. Oh wow, well, that's terrifying though. There's no concept of. Oh, it's using its head as like a. Yeah, there you go.
この動きがとにかく気持ち悪いので、ゾンビゲームの動きに使える。
I mean, this looks like his slime monsters.
人工知能を使うと
The movement.
多分人間が想像できない気持ち悪い動きが
Two humans can't imagine yet. Gosh, it's pretty terrifying. Ah! This is what we've been working on.
実際には
Every morning, not recent days, but I see my friend who has a disability. Uh-oh. So hard for him just to do a high five. His arm with stiff muscle reaching out to my hand. I'm thinking of him. I can't watch this stuff and find it interesting. Whoever creates this stuff has no idea what pain is or whatsoever. I'm utterly disgusted. If you want to make creepy stuff, you can go ahead and do it. I would never wish to incorporate this technology into my work at all. That guy's taking notes and nodding. I strongly feel that this is an insult to life itself. I award you no points and may God have mercy on your soul.
Oh.
これでもほとんど実験なので、
Oh gosh, that poor kid.
世の中に見せてどうこうってそういうのじゃないです。
それは本当によく分かってるつもりですけど、どこへたどり着きたいんですか。
Oh, that's Suzuki. That's the big dude.
人間が描くのと同じように
We would like
絵を描く機
to
械。
build a machine that can draw pictures like humans do. Oh, don't say that to.
はい。
He's so scared, and he should be. Dun dun dun. I feel like we were nearing to the end of times.
We humans are losing faith in ourselves.
Oh man.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, like what were they expecting? We want to build a machine to make your entire life's work obsolete. Cool, huh? We want to make a machine that'll draw just like humans do, but on its own.
So interesting because I was like, at first I was
why did they think his reaction would be in any way not offended?
Yeah. At least that guy stuck to his guns. Yeah.
You can see the absolute devastation in their eyes, though.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that poor guy was like.
We will not show this to anyone.
Yeah, and he just starts crumbling from the inside, and he becomes 6 years old again, having watched Kiki's Delivery Service and going, "I'm going to meet him one day."
Yeah.
Woo! Sad, man. Sad.
At least one of them dudes beat a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that was rough.
I was. I mean, I was like, so at first I was like, "Oh, Miyazaki, come on, cut him a break." But then when he explained it, I was like, "Oh, there's no humanity." That's interesting. And he's like, "If you want to make creepy stuff, you can go with creepy stuff, but it doesn't have any humanity to it." It's interesting. It's interesting that even as like a monster, because he's created monstrous things, very, very monstrous, terrifying things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting that he think that he would have a concept of how the thing moves relative to the pain it would feel. That's interesting.
And it was also like, how insulting, like for him who has created things from his own brain that were genuinely terrifying, to have someone say, this makes it on its own, and it'll come up with things that the human brain can never think of.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's just going to do the creative shit for us for without, like, we don't even have to be creative.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I would be, if I was him, I would be deeply insulted just by that one thing.
And he goes, well, let me, watch this. And he goes, do you have a pen? Do you have a pencil? And they go, yes, I do. And he goes, go. He draws this. And they go, oh.
He's like, now, how would you react?
Yeah.
How do you think you would react if I took this little fucking pencil, yes, and I jabbed it in your fucking eye?
Oh, and he goes, oh, and he's like, well, it's something we're working on, and we just, Hayao Miyazaki murdered a room full of college kids.
I did not think you would be so polite.
Yeah.
I just put a pencil in your eye. That's cool.
Yeah,
I've seen pictures of him. I've never seen him speak before.
I've
heard that there's like documentaries about the making of some of his movies. I would want specifically this one, and I want to watch it. Is it on the Blu-ray?
There
'Cause
was
that's what I have.
there was one of and I watched like a couple seconds of it, but it's him on the press tour basically of it going to America. I mean the United States, and on the tour for and I guess basically the Western, I think Europe and the United States, basically the Western world, taking Mononoke to film festivals and
cool.
kind of doing interviews.
Because that was like his first like across the Atlantic type. This was the first one that like really did business over here.
This is Nina the Pinta de Santa Maria. Yes, he like, and he goes into Columbus. Columbus is not a controversial figure, right? So then he goes and there's like I didn't see much of it. There's a scene where he goes into McDonald's and and he orders a coffee and they give it to him and he goes, what is this? And he goes, well, we had this machine make you some coffee, and he goes, subtitles, I've never in my life seen a more soulless, inhumane abomination of a liquid, black, dead. How you could think. Anyway, it died, but it was.
And then you're starting to be like, oh,
you go, wait a second.
He's a little intense.
Yeah, and
all the time.
And then the other guy goes like, and your hash browns are ready. He goes, no, Ray, don't give him the hash browns. And he's like, well, we cooked him a little extra crispy.
I think he's really gonna like them.
Yeah, we did. We cooked him in the crisper. And he's like, this brittle, fragile, dead slab.
I have a friend.
It isn't a friend. Yes.
A burn victim.
He's a potato. Oh gosh, there you go. Hey, I use this as an insult to life itself.
Yeah.
He said this is an insult to life itself. And he goes like, well, I'm an alive person and I kind of like it, so I'm sorry that goodness.
Yeah, it's not like he was like, yeah, this is bad, or I'm just insulted on a personal level. He was like,
yeah,
this is an insult to life itself.
Yeah, and it's like Walt Disney saying that to you. It's like
you don't
Mr.
kill yourself.
Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a pretty nice guy, so you got to do a lot to really piss me off.
Yeah. Have you seen my adorable, heartwarming films for children? You, sir. I've got a pencil. Hold on. Give me a pencil. I will gut you.
I just want to keep stabbing things.
I will pull your heart from where it does not belong because you do not deserve it.
I'm going to cut you open.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull your intestines out.
Yeah.
I'm going to paint them black because that's what I like.
Uh-huh.
That's what I like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to give those to my guys.
Yeah.
For an animation test to see how they move.
And it's going to be scary, but also weirdly adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a guy comes in a Totoro suit. You ready to go, boss? And he goes,
he's like, you got my coffee?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Here you go.
He's like, I really like. I grew.
Yeah,
it was a slow burn, but I really like this.
Good cup of Joe.
Coffee. Yeah. It's a good cup of Joe.
Yeah, you guys are all right. Shoots the other guy.
I mean, Miyazaki hates video games. I would be very curious to know, particularly with like something of like high artistic value, like something that really.
Heavy Rain. Did you hear? I said heavy.
You know, I'm still stuck.
Brushing your teeth.
I'm stuck in my office. That's also on Mars. That's an option.
I love Heavy Rain.
I don't know how to get out of it, and I gave up on the game. I need to bring it back because I really don't like that game.
Speaking of which, you can take Spider-Man back.
Did you ever play it?
I did.
Did you beat it?
No.
I
mean, do you want me to? I'll keep it.
No, I might want to play it again.
Yeah, man.
It's it's got a good, this is my favorite interpretation story-wise of Spider-Man.
Sure.
But you had it for a year and you never played it all the way through.
It's true. That's true of a lot of things. I played, I swung, I did some backpacks. I did a lot of stuff. It was fun. Yeah. Basically my capture card.
Were you too busy playing Disneyland Connect?
Look, man.
Was that eating up your whole
I played that with my daughter.
Yeah.
I played it with my daughter. Do you want to give me more?
Your daughter has terrible taste in video games.
All right. She was the one who said we should buy Heavy Rain. I did my first
daughter burn.
Many more to come. Into the Spider-Verse was... Look up Ni no Kuni. It's a game with Ghibli style, and the cutscenes are done by the studio. Really?
Wow.
Beep, boop, 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 boop. Oh, look at that. More black tar creatures. Some soot sprites. adorable girl who
I'm gonna
has to
get
be
one
strong.
of those Katanda or
just a bobblehead.
I already looked them up. I'm gonna buy one.
Yeah.
You can get them for like $5 on Etsy.
That's cool.
Like handmade ones are like this big and you set them on your desk. They glow in the dark.
Unlicensed, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you don't know.
Handcrafted.
Miyazaki. And Miyazaki goes, "This is money. This is money slipping through my fingers. It is an abomination."
This is an assault. The thing is do they do any? Is he like, I don't like merchandising? Do they have Studio Ghibli merchandise?
I bought some for my daughter.
You did?
I'm
like so.
It was on
stoked.
Wish.com, so I don't know.
I'm so stoked that like to me this is the epitome of like why we started doing this.
To discover
something that like I'm now gonna be like, I'm so excited to continue like feverishly masturbating.
So sorry. Yes.
I was trying to like have an honest.
I know. I'm such a dick.
Why I love this show.
Sorry. Please go.
Do you want to get a fart out right now too? Do you just want to do it?
Sorry.
Well, because it's already in the gutter.
No. Please go. I'm sorry.
I can't.
I'm
can't
sorry
now.
for what I am.
You ran it into the ground. I can't come back. I can't go back to being earnest now.
Sorry.
I'm excited to see the rest of his movies, though, I guess. I don't know.
I'm the worst. I'm sorry. I just can't stop talking. I'm a greedy witch.
You look like you're trying to get lower to your asshole so you can smell a fart.
Well, no, I mean, that's not... Believe me, you don't need...
I mean, I'm talking about, like, through here. It just looks like you shrunk down close to your butthole.
I'm just being that Lauren Bacall greed witch, because I gotta talk all the time, because I need attention. I'm sorry.
That's true. Is there anything else you want? Do you want to... You got, like, a whoopee cushion you want to bring out?
I want to do an impression.
Do John Leguizamo
Just doing
and
it.
Spawn.
Yeah. Again, you mean? Hey. Sorry. Hey, so...
Did you see the new It trailer?
No.
You're going to be doing the... Kelsey told me to shut up a couple times because it makes great use of his laugh as like the trailer hits, you know, like the big booms. So anytime they goes boom, it goes. Oh. It's really cool.
I haven't seen the first one.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, not
It's really.
second one, I mean, I guess.
Really.
Yeah.
You saw the first movie though?
No, sorry. I mean, I've never seen it. I've never seen
anything?
it. I've never seen it.
Okay.
I know at the end of it, Tim Curry turns into a giant spider. And that's the scariest thing that this interdimensional thing could think of, which is
I love the Tim Curry version. It's terrible, but I love it.
Yeah, it's also the final scary form in Gremlins 2, the new batch, which is a horror comedy. So I'm kind of like, he thought of the same thing. Weird.
I loved it. I thought it was genuinely scary, funny.
Yeah.
It just felt like a Stephen King, and they did it really, really, really well. Like really well, and it's beautiful. It's shot so beautifully.
You're talking about the remake.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like it's one of the it's not even a remake to me. It's like the feature film version, and they crushed it.
Oh,
and the sequel, because the first one was about the kids, and now they're doing the adults,
right?
Which I thought was a great way of splitting it up.
And I don't even know who the cast is.
Bill Hader's in it.
Oh yeah.
Doing like a meaty like dramatic performance, which is awesome because I love.
So it's kind of like, he's like.
I love Bill Hader.
I love Bill Hader.
Like, have you seen Skeleton Twins?
Yes. Yeah.
They were so good in that.
Yeah. He's like, so like, I've never done a Bill Hader before. You ready?
I can tell.
You ready?
Don't ever interrupt me again when I'm trying to bear myself.
I deserve it.
Yeah, it is. It's good. You should watch it. It's really good.
Yeah. Who else is in?
I don't think you're gonna watch it. I feel like you're not gonna watch it.
Yeah, of course not, man. I don't watch anything. It's my. I want to. I
Why don't
want
you?
to. I don't have time.
I know you do though. At night.
That's my private time. No, I don't. I get off here. I go. I am going to do any of the 50 things that I have floating around in my head to do, and here we go on. It's 4:00 in the morning. How many can I get done? Oh my gosh, why is life such a strain? Why? Okay, here we go.
Slow Bros wiping time.
Yeah, there we go. Oh gosh. Do you ever have? Never mind. Let's not talk about it. So here, let's talk more about.
Do
this.
I ever have a poop that I have to wipe repeatedly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
And
Sometimes you have them really clean
stuck
ones.
in there, and I'm like, it's my wife.
You know it, and you know it immediately.
Yeah.
Like you know
I
when
just
it's
go,
gonna be a
"Gosh darn it,
disaster.
I'm getting married in 3 hours,
Did you have
and I
dirty-
don't have time for this.
Did you have dirty butt when you got married?
No, probably not. Probably. Who knows? I don't remember a lot. It was a blur. It was
Probably
wonderful.
not. Probably.
Yeah, it was a lovely day, and we got married to the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves theme. Did I tell you that?
What?
It was in our backyard.
That's awesome.
I did not.
That's
know.
a great.
I didn't know you then. You would have been.
No, wait. No. How does that one go?
Are you baiting me?
I know. I just can't. I need like 2 notes.
Oh, you're pretty good at baiting. You're a master
I'm
baiter.
a master baiter. You know what? You're done for today. I'm going to timeout.
I just want that soundbite of Miyazaki, just in Japanese, and I go, I know what he's saying.
Can we have a soundboard?
Oh yeah.
Oh, why aren't we doing that?
I don't know how to set it up.
Oh,
But it's this thing.
Because that would be
Look at all
a
these
great
blank spaces.
initial
Yeah, yeah,
clip to have. Because I can always just go, you have insulted life itself.
Yeah. Yeah, he literally said that to another youngish human being.
Face. He tried to reply, and then he was like,
Yeah.
he had to look up.
Yeah, and he goes,
It almost looked like a Miyazaki animation because he was just like, his eyes just.
yeah, because you could see his brain going, ha. Oh, I'd hoped so much.
idol.
A positive response, but then he goes, and then like the look up was he goes, is that the most negative thing I could have imagined? Yes, I didn't dare to imagine in my most nightmarish dreams that he would say that I insulted life itself. Where do I go?
And you know that was his idol, like without question.
Oh yeah,
Like at least in the top 2.
yeah.
So just give me 2 notes.
Of what?
Give me 3.
Oh,
give me 3
so
notes.
Here's the deal. And we had we got up married in the backyard and blah blah blah. And we had our friend. So the time was how like when you've seen a wedding on TV or in the movies or
No,
in real life.
No.
So there's a man and a woman. They love each other. A man or woman. One wants to stay in the country. Okay. So my wife and I went to get married.
Okay.
And you got it.
I need people like
People,
you.
yeah. You go, oh, I understand that. And then, and we had our friend at the back of our friend Chris Frazier, who's a lovely man, was in the back of our backyard, and he had a MacBook, and you know the part where you kiss and it goes dun 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 dun.
That's so cool, man.
So instead of that, we kissed, and I was like, "Yo, Fraze, hit it." No, I didn't do that. Because she would have been like, I object.
Then as you're walking out with your new wife, you like smack Scarlett on the butt. And you're like, hit it, boom.
Yeah, and Tone Loc goes, that was cool, man.
That was cool, bro. Boom.
No, I go. So
Andy Garcia's in the back, going like this.
Because is this the Godfather 3? That's the worst Andy Garcia. I know everything that happens in my hotels. That's terrible. So we kiss, and instead of bam bam ba dun dun dun, there we go. So it was like this. It's like the Dark Crystal, because this is what we.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. Yeah.
Kiss me.
Do it slow. Do it slow.
So we go. Then it goes. Dun 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 bum 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 dun. Dun 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 run dun 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 dun.
Oh man.
Look, bro, you use tongue, bro. Oh, only when I need to. What?
Whoa.
Good. Not everybody. So, gosh, what a disservice we've done to every movie. So I think it's fair.
No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Here we go. Let's go back.
I.
Dressed like a big heroic straw bird.
You talking about a house?
No, I mean like, yeah, he's got like big straw and he looks like a big bird. You know what I'm saying? No, like Ashitaka. Like he gets the straw stuff on. He looks like a bird. He's got a big bird. And they go, you're a foreigner. You're a stranger because you do not dress like this. You dress like a big straw bird. Cool. The theme, the music, The main theme is beautiful. Also, it cribs the first few notes from the Braveheart theme, the Braveheart love theme. I know, which is also beautiful. So it's great.
Don't care.
But yeah, it's
Maybe that's why I love it so much, because I fucking love Braveheart.
I know.
And I love
Braveheart's great.
Braveheart has one of the best soundtracks of all time.
James Horner, baby!
James Horner, and then he did it again 2 years later with Titanic, and I didn't care even then because he just I was telling you the other week that I was like, I've been listening to that Titanic soundtrack a lot.
I know.
Not the Celine
Shall we go for it? Yeah.
Celine Dion song,
Celine-
but the actual soundtrack, the suite. It's a 10-minute song.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good.
Love was when I loved you.
It's not what I was listening to. But anytime you say I was listening to the Titanic soundtrack, that's what everyone.
Some asshole, yeah.
That's what everyone, including myself, thinks. Which is why I never told anyone that. And I was like, well, Brian's such a good friend. He'll understand. And he gave me the same look that anyone else, including my girlfriend, was just like, I was like, it's really good.
It is. I mean, it is a successful soundtrack.
She was like, no, don't.
Look, man.
You're a man. And I was like, yeah, I understand that. But like, come on.
She's gender rolling you.
Oh, dude, hardcore. I had a joke.
How far does this go? Yeah, there you go. All right, okay. Here we go. Also, Minnie Driver and Billy Crudup. So Minnie is the lady. The lady.
All right, I need to know how many more of these things that you're
Bullshit
notes,
things that are in my
these notes. How many more of them are about Billy Crudup?
I mean, all of them indirectly.
Because I'm starting to get a little worried.
Yeah.
That like you.
He's in trouble.
He's in trouble.
yeah, man.
I'm gonna go up to him if I ever meet him and be like, "Have you ever received any like anonymous letters, bags of hair, beard hair?"
And he goes, "Well, I got a storage facility.
Yeah,
where I keep all that."
And it's mostly toilet paper that's been wiped. And then there's like jokes written on them.
Yeah, and he goes, "Yeah, I thought that was Kate Hudson sending me that." Because that's her thing.
Nah, she's got very clean bowel
She
movements.
did. I mean, let's not put that pressure on her. Come on. Okay. So they're walking by.
Who is?
You know, Billy Crudup and then someone else. Who cares? Minnie Driver and Billy Crudup.
Someone not as handsome.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a handsome dude. He's got the.
He's very handsome.
Good looking dude.
He's a very good looking guy.
Yeah. He's got these.
He would have been a great Batman.
He was considered.
Was he?
Yeah. Did you just pull that out of your?
I did. Huh. For Nolan's?
I think so. Yeah.
He'd be a good Batman now.
Which
he has aged.
Yeah.
Those letters.
Hey man, like a fine wine. Excuse me.
Hit it.
What?
Prince of Thieves soundtrack.
I mean, I'm into it.
I'm all over the place. I like what I like.
I only got so much time before I get kicked out. Remember in Alien Covenant when his dumbass character, I need to see that movie, stuck his face, stuck his right into the alien body, like, and just jump out.
I don't remember that. I don't even remember him being in Alien Covenant, but then I didn't like that movie. So I kind of blacked it out.
Someone put up a Zango signal. Oh, yeah. Kick it one time, boy. Yeah. Zango, I responded to you non-verbally, but I don't know if I responded to you verbally. You've been here for a while, and I was like, hey, man.
Zango means a verbal confirmation.
Hello, Zango. How are you, my friend? No, but they're walking by, and she's like showing him the Iron Town.
Mm-hmm. I know you want to call it Iron City. That's not what it is. It's Iron Town.
Yeah.
Welcome to Iron Town.
Yeah.
Which he based off John Ford westerns.
Really?
Because he wanted it to have like an anywhere in modern civilization look to it, is how he kind of described it.
Interesting.
But he referenced a lot of John Ford movies, and I guess in a lot of John Ford movies, there's like little compound type things. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. With like hard scrabble people trying to eke out a living.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so she walks him by, and then she's like showing him, and then I just love there's like a woman who pokes out and goes like she's walking by, like they just, and it's silent, and it's just a second, and it's just like boom, yeah, it just fills out this whole like they are enamored of her, they feel completely indebted to her, and it's because they lay that on so thickly that I was like, this is
gonna be,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Which I don't think is an accident. I don't think. Yeah. Oh, I love. Gosh, they do this thing where he like has sort of like a psychic connection to Princess Mononoke, to Claire Danes, right? And
How?
oh well, not. I mean, he just kind of has a sense of when she's coming. He has a sense, like he kind of like
Yeah.
he has these flash. Not
I always took it as
flashbacks.
more like, wait, what? Flashbacks?
Sort of. They're
Oh
not-
yeah.
It
Oh,
just
yeah.
cuts to
Yeah.
and it
you're
has
right.
this great like he goes. He's like, I need to find her something, and then it just cuts to this scene, to this shot, right here.
Yeah.
And it's just silent almost, and she's going, and it's just instant, and I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Dude, there was like during the pre-battle, basically when they cut to where the final battle is going to take place and all the boars are starting to come,
Yeah.
and they cut to the smoke and they're like, oh, it's so stinky, and they're like, it's so they can drown out our sense of smell.
Yeah.
And then they cut to some other stuff, and then they cut to the boar starting to assimilate, and like they're not charging yet, but they're walking to where the battle's going to take place. The music that is playing there is so tense. It's just like a low kind of battle drumming, like almost like the TikTok Hans Zimmer-y, like from Thin Red Line type thing. Like it was so. I was just like, God, this music.
I know it really.
Fucking music, and it was
phenomenal.
all, and it hit on all these cues, like these dramatic shot, like drone shots of like looking down on the boars. Like, through the forest.
Oh my gosh.
And it just goes boom.
And it's so that absolutely.
Oh,
That
so good.
The music is amazing, and that reminds me of, because what I was thinking of at that point, because you walk up, and you see boars dead, like just whatever, and then
And how they died was so like
and-
visually and like creatively. I was just like, 'cause
yeah.
they just walk up and then like the whole front line, it shoots up in a literal wall of flames.
Oh yeah, and he has those flashbacks. Yes,
and it starts slowly coming back and back towards the camera, and you're just like, oh my god.
and they explode like someone kicked a bunch of marbles or something.
Yeah,
and
so
it's
cool.
And it's but yeah, and then he walks in and he walks by one that's dead, and it's just sitting there and staring straight ahead.
Yeah.
And it's so harrowing. It's so chilling that it's staying completely still, and you go, wow, but it's a drawing. You know what I mean? It's
I
weird.
know.
It's still, but I go, that is a thing that had life that does not have life.
I kept thinking
It's
about
crazy.
that anytime Yakul, his elk compadre, kept coming on camera, and when he got wounded, and like just because like when he got wounded, and then he kept following him even though he told him not to.
Oh yeah, and he said, go home.
He was like, go home,
That
and then
whole
he
thing,
just kept
but-
limping after him. And then he was like, all right. And he takes them, and then it cuts to them
great.
running, and he was like, everything's going to be okay, my friend.
Yeah.
It got me so hard. And I did have that cognizant moment where I was just like, this is why animation is amazing, because
Yes.
for all intents and purposes, this doesn't exist. And I had that was my initial thought. And then my second thought was, but this does exist, because this is as real as anything.
Absolutely.
Because it's drawn and animated, and now it moves like real life. And this is, and that was a very profound thought for me.
Right.
Because I was like, that's like, I couldn't think of a bigger compliment to give a piece of animation
Totally.
than to have that thought.
Absolutely. Those are characters that you know, and it is transcended.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, that whole part. I mean, like, how many times have we? I mean, it's a cliche almost. Go home.
Yeah.
But like, they
But
play
it worked,
it,
and
and
it
it
played
works.
it, and they worked. They didn't lean into
yeah.
it. Like it was tactfully done. It had
And they just
absolutely
cut
everything
yeah.
to how the elk had. What's his name? Is it Nakul or Yakul or
I think it's Yakul. Yeah,
Yakul?
something like that.
how their relationship had been built over the course of the movie, where it wasn't the elk show.
No.
It was little things here and there. How I was just like, that is one noble bastard.
Yeah, and when it limps after him, goodness,
Ugh.
it's just so it's fantastic. But and then
You're cool.
Yakul.
Cool.
Looked it up. Yeah, and so, but yeah, and then when he comes upon that whole scene, and all the boar are dead, all the boars are laid out, and then he comes upon as well the kind of the mass grave of humans, and there's the guy just
and the guy trembling in the
trembling
corner.
and sobbing, and it just made me go. like it is so. This is so thematically rich and deep, and also like so much of like to me, the environment is one thing, but to me, honestly, the core of it is that when is violence justified, sort of thing that runs through it, and it that scene reminded me how like few other films, this film shows you the effects of the violence that it's allowing to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, so there's the war between the Boers and the like Boer War. There's the battle between the Boers and whatever, and then they're there, and then we see the effect by the guys like trembling and shaking, and that's not mind blowing. You see that sometimes where you come upon something and he's like they did, but he's just like they took everything, they went that way, and it's like whatever. But no, we sit with that guy and then we talk and blah blah blah, and then he goes, was she with him? He goes, I don't know, and he goes, I saw her, and he just kind of does that whole Leland Orser like I fucked her. But like seriously, that you got that, and then you got that dead boar that's whatever, and that is there to let us sit with the effects of the violence. And it reminded me of something that I thought of earlier, which is at the very beginning when Minnie Driver is shooting at the wolves, and then but they get a couple of dudes and they fall, and she's like, they're dead, let them go. And then the two guys float, they're in the river, and Ashitaka comes upon them. He like bandages them up, and they become characters in the story. And I was like, I've never seen a movie where incidental deaths become characters after that fact. Yeah. And I was like, that's crazy. That is like if a stormtrooper in Star Wars got shot, and then we started following him somehow. Yeah. And I go, that's a device to introduce these characters, but it is also at its core so rare and revolutionary an idea for a film. Like it's like in an action movie, dudes get blown away and they're gone and you don't think about them anymore. At the most, they're an established character for a bit, and then they die to prove that the stakes are real, so that the main character doesn't have to die. Right. These guys were just cast-offs, and then they become characters so that we learn to see them as humans. And it's, in a way, it's subtle, but it is groundbreaking. I've never seen that before. Yeah. And I was like, that is because he is going, just on a basic level, he's like, these casualties are human beings. Yeah. I mean, and it's not, it doesn't hit you over the head with it, but it's just like, wow, man. Like,
I love stuff like that. I've always wanted to do, it would be so cool to do a movie of like a major property, but from like a minor character. And I'm talking an extras character.
Like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Yeah, really, I keep waiting for them for Disney to be like, all right, here's our new Star Wars movie, Dagobah. And it's just going to be Dagobah, and it's going to be a whole brand new plot line, and then it's going to end with it getting exploded-ized.
Yeah. Like in Austin Powers, when the hitman's family finds out, oh, which one do they do that in? That's really funny and brilliant. What do they? The hitman, the henchman's family finds out that he's killed. Is that in the second or third one?
I don't remember that.
That's crazy. Yeah, yes. So very much like that. Oh man. So then, oh gosh, there's just so much. I love when Mononoke comes in there and just tears through everybody. I love when he runs to get her. Oh gosh, when she gets shot and then just tumbles down the roof. Because the things explode. Because he's like, don't go, it's a trap. And then she does anyway. And then there's an explosion. You don't know what happened until you look, and she's like Sonic the Hedgehogging down the roof. And then she goes, wait till they fall. Wait till she falls, and they hit her or whatever. And then he runs. And then she gets up and goes and starts fighting.
Well, she gets shot in the face.
Right.
And it shoots her mask off. And it was her plan. Yeah. Because he even kind of has a thought. I feel like there was a line of dialogue where he's talking to himself and he's like, oh, she wants to.
Oh, really?
I thought that.
Maybe in the sub. I don't know.
Yeah. because she wanted to fall so she could get closer.
Yeah.
But that's how badass she was. She was
Yeah.
willing to put herself in significant danger, get shot in the face.
Yeah.
And then she was faking it because when he runs up to her, she's just like,
Yeah, she gets up and just goes, and then it's
and
like
then she gets completely surrounded by knives
Yeah.
and spears. And I just thought that, like, the wide shot of that, where she just didn't care,
it just goes.
was so telling to me of, like, that's why I said I was like, it was desperate but badass. But when I say desperate, not in a bad way, in a way of, like,
just
I
single-minded,
have to kill you.
Yeah. And she
Like
just
that
goes
type of hate, yeah.
It's fantastic, and she gets just beelines for her, and they square off, and it's like this jumpy kind of like super scrappy Batman versus like the butterfly lady from Sekiro.
Yeah.
Because she goes shing, 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 and I was like, oh gosh, this is crazy. And then he just goes boom, 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 and like the guy takes the sword out and he just bends it like tinfoil.
Oh, dude, that was so
and I was
cool.
like, and then when
when he walks away and he gets shot, and I was so shocked that he got shot because I figured she was gonna shoot and miss.
Yeah.
He gets hit.
It just doesn't.
And he goes.
Just keeps walking. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this guy is my hero.
I know.
He's my hero.
It's amazing.
I can do 5 more minutes.
Sure.
Because I haven't had dinner and I'm hungry.
Oh my gosh. Let's order some food. Just go till 2.
I want to get Taco Cabana.
Oh man. I have some percentage off, but I think you have to use my phone in the app.
All right, give me your phone.
Fair. Oh man, I love when he falls. Like, so he's been shot, and then they get away, and he's down.
Yeah.
And she wakes up, and the wolf just jumps over and goes, ah! Like she's
yeah.
throttling his head like a dead rabbit.
I thought that was it.
I was like,
oh no!
whoa! And she goes, stop, and he's like, all right. And you're just like, whoa, dude.
Cut off a wolf's head and it still has the power to bite. Yeah,
Oh,
I loved how
yeah.
that came back into play. That was great.
Yeah. I love. Oh man! And then they see that. Yeah, they see she puts him down. Puts a little like Charlie Brown Christmas tree over his head, and then she goes like, "It's this the
shove this in your mouth and shut up, shut up."
little apple." And then the forest spirit shows up, and it's like, "Oh, it's the forest spirit." And then at that point, the forest spirit goes, and I go, "You're a little fucking weirdo, forest spirit."
When
and
they
it just
first
goes,
showed the forest spirit, I laughed
Yeah, you go.
audibly because he goes like this,
and I go, "Ah!"
And he goes, "My." And I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was so funny, and I was just like, oh, that's great, because he
She's
looks
like,
like a real goddamn weirdo.
Which is awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's on purpose, too.
Oh,
he's
it's
like,
great, though.
Weird though, right? And you're like, what is that? And he's like, but hey,
Yeah, it was
can I
great.
come over there? And you're like, no.
And I love after he gets, is it before or after that they have the, she chews his food up and baby birds it into his mouth.
Yeah.
But I thought that was great.
Really hot.
Like, it was...
No, I know.
But there was some
yes,
sensuality
they're definitely
to it,
kind of like introducing that.
but
a
I
little
just
bit.
thought it was a really beautiful, intimate...
Yeah.
I would just say
It is.
intimate. It was
And
just an intimate thing to do and to show, and I love how they handled it.
Absolutely.
I thought it was great.
And it's an inch, and it's the beginning of like a kind of softening of and it's great.
Yeah.
Of food and also their relationship. But also, and I kind of was like, well, they're just doing that because she could. I was like, no, she wouldn't take it out of her mouth to get the full thing. You want to baby bird it in there. Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm just gonna. Oh yeah, man, I love that like you can't trust men thing. And I was like, it's true, man.
Wait, when was this?
The wolf.
Yeah.
She goes, you can't trust men. And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, dude. I love when he wakes up from from the whatever and he goes out and he walks over to the thing
I love
and
that
she
scene.
goes you could always jump.
Yeah.
You could just do it. And he's like, I love it because she goes, you just jump, man. You just fucking do it. And he goes, I feel like I was asleep for weeks. And she goes, well, you're asleep and I wish you'd cried out so I could just bite your fucking head off.
Yeah.
And then he goes, the forest here is beautiful. I was like, you are ignoring this, and that's cool. It's very cool of you. He's like, yep, good stuff out here. And that is Gillian Anderson saying that shit to him, which is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And oh my gosh. And oh god.
Does Patrick Stewart do any voiceover?
I hope so.
He's got a great voice.
Because otherwise,
I was watching Star Trek last night, and I was like, I love him.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He's a really. He also I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a guy. He doesn't make bald work for him. I'm like, you look amazing bald. Like if you had hair,
better, yeah.
I don't think you'd look as handsome as you do.
Yeah, I agree. We saw a stage production of The Tempest with him as Prospero. So that's cool.
Did you go up to him afterward?
Yeah, and I said, "Are you engaged?" And he goes, "That's Sean Connery, you asshole." And I go, "You sound like Sean Connery." And he's like, "No, I don't. And you don't either, so stop it."
He's like, could you read this review? I was like, what does that say? It's like, Brian Villalobos. Who's this?
Is it
sex
written in
appeal?
crayon? Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty good penmanship, though.
I was like, "Can I leave?" He's like, "Can I go?" Oh man, I love when she hugs her mom real tight. And
I looked it up and it was the Emoji Movie as poop.
That's not. Is that true?
That's not worthy.
Actually, that's funny.
It is funny.
He's like, I'm
I'm
poop.
blamed by poop.
Hello. I love when she goes up and hugs her mom, and it's so close, and the eye is right here, that wolf mom, and she's there, and she's just like, "I hate them," and she's just like, and she stabs the thing. 'Cause she says something. She's like, "Humans are doing this, and they're doing it on purpose to draw them out." And she's like, "Son of a bitch, they suck." And I'm like, "Yeah, man." And then she's there, and she's just like, "Oh, whatever." And she's like, "That boy, he wanted to make a life with you." And she goes, "I hate him. I hate all humans." And by the way, Claire Danes and Gillian Anderson, not a bad mother-daughter pairing. I like it.
That reminds me of another scene that made me cry hardcore. Is when I can't remember at what point in the movie. I feel like they're by the lake. I think it's just towards the very end where they haven't given the head. It's right before they like chase off to go give him the head back or get the head back to give to the tree spirit. And so it's like an all is lost moment, and she's fighting off Ashitaka's. He's trying to console her, and she keeps fighting him off. And she like pushes him, and then you think they're gonna get into it, and then he just like I can't remember how he goes in for it, but the way he goes in for it, you think it's gonna be maybe one thing, and then he hugs her.
Yeah.
And she just kind of comes undone, and
Yeah.
That was a great scene.
Yeah, man. Sounds like a certain music video.
Oh my god. You know why I liked it so much? Friday needs something I did.
I like when he wakes up. I'm just gonna blow through these. I like when he wakes up and they're gone, and he goes, "Right," and then looks over, and they're like, "Here's your sword and 2 cabbages, you piece of shit. Get out of here."
I don't remember that.
They just left his stuff. He just wakes up in the cave and he's alone. And then he gets out and he calls his stag, and then he's like, and then one of the wolves is there and to lead him, and he goes, "Oh, cool." And
yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. The other thing is like when she's hugging her mom like that or whatever, the other wolves walk up, and then because of her pelt that she's wearing, they come up to her, to the both of them, and then you don't even realize that she's there, and then she turns, and she blends in.
She looks like a wolf almost.
Well, she just blends into the and it's very similar to me in the first time when he sees the wounded wolf, like the first time he sees her, the wolves come out and she comes out. And then the wolf gets up, but before that, she looked like a boulder. Like she just gets up and she's wounded, and then she gets over and goes, and spits out the thing. And total badass.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that's a great scene. When she and then the wolf brings her the thing that like she goes, "Here's the only keepsake your sister gave you to remember you by," and he gives it to her, and it's crazy that it's like that never comes back. He never sees any of them again, and it's awesome. It's awesome that they did that. It's a very interesting choice, very good choice. And then he gives it to her, and then she goes, "From Ashitaka? For me? Pretty." And I was like, "What?"
I thought that was so great because I just thought it was a nice reprieve. But
humanizing thing. Yeah.
It really was funny because she just goes, "Pretty."
Yeah, and I was like, "What? Excuse me, who's this?" I love the ritual pig mud face painting each other. With their snouts, or they're like painting mud. It's
Yeah,
freaking
that was
awesome.
cool. Oh yeah, that was so cool.
The
Yeah, I
rain
thought that
spots
was
on the
really
stones,
cool,
that was
yeah.
great. Yeah, when he leaps over the samurai with the stag, that's where I was like, passing. I love it when he passes a dead body floating in the water and he just pushes past it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I like when they jumped. He was on his stag and he jumped. They jumped into the water, and you immediately think they're just gonna start swimming, but he just kind of sinks to the bottom for a second.
Yeah.
And he's still sprinting.
Yeah.
And then he eventually comes back up. But I just thought that was cool.
That's
There's
awesome.
just little bits of
I know.
things that just add to the.
Cut that, Weinstein. Yeah.
And it would.
Wow.
He would jump into the water, and then it would cut
Yeah.
to him above water again. Like, I guarantee it.
Yeah, and to a trailer for Shakespeare in Love, and they would cut back. I love that. We haven't really talked about them, but I love the Jada Pink. Oh, well, that was sorry. It was a dub. You okay? Oh, you're still shuddering for Shakespeare in Love
It's the movie that took away
from Saving
Best
Private.
Picture from
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan, which is so.
It's a fine, lovely romantic comedy, but that is, yeah.
And Saving Private Ryan redefined what the war movie was.
Oh, that's what I was talking
forever.
about. It's a fine. Saving Private Ryan is a fine romantic comedy. No second.
Why do you love Shakespeare in Love so much?
No. Yes, no, yes. I love when. Hold on. Oh yeah. Jada Pinkett Smith is the voice of the like the main rifle lady, like the lady who leads all the other ladies, and she's like, I know, I love that idiot. You know.
Oh yeah.
She's great. And then that whole thing.
She's got a good voice. Yeah.
Yeah, she does. And like, I was like, is that Jada Pinkett? I was like, perfect casting. That's great. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then I just love that like they're left to like fend for themselves against the samurai, and you're like, all right, man, she's just leaving, and then they just beat the shit out of the samurai. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's awesome. They're freaking rad.
Yeah, I know that
And
was
then-
so cool.
And then and it's just part of the whole like.
But they were still scared because like
Yes.
they thought they couldn't do it without her, but then they did. Yeah, it was just great.
It's great. Don't worry, we can always. It's like, don't worry, we can always pour hot iron on them. And then he's on the wall of the fort, and he's talking to her, and then that little slack, they go boom, and it's just another great moment. I go, oh right, the lepers, like, and it's
Yeah,
just a
the
beautiful,
lepers, yeah.
but it's so organic and in the thing, it's awesome.
Because I was so confused why he was going there in the first place, and that's when they really start to like establish that it's not playing both sides. He's just compassionate to that degree.
Yeah.
Of like, I mean, that's how it should be.
Yeah. I love, man, and again, this whole thing about the justification of violence, where he's like, what's more when there's like that kind of general for her, and he's like, what's more important to you, he's like saving your town or getting the head of this forest spirit or whatever, and the guy's like, and he's like, screw it, I'm gonna kill him with like the rifle guy, and he's like whatever, and then they're like, huh. And then the other guys are like, yeah, he's right, we're with him. And they knock that dude over the head. And they choose violence to kind of be. But it's just this tiny moment where, again, they're like, we're on his side. We're going to be violent to do, I don't know. It's just,
But that is a recurring theme throughout
Yes.
the whole movie of like violence when there's no other option.
Exactly.
Like only using violence when there's no other option.
yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, I have, oh man.
That whole bit of great. Him playing both. Yeah, exactly. Not in the sense deceiving, which is what that's what you want to think it is at first, but then you realize it's just full compassion. And
Yeah,
it's great.
And just trying to be loving. I love when the boar, like it just cuts to the boar and the wolf walking, and they're just.
God, that was shocking.
Yeah, there's blood.
That was
just
shocking. Yeah,
just out of everywhere.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh my gosh, and then the mice, just a multitude of mice.
Oh, that was great.
And you're like, what are they running from?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh my gosh.
That really set up that was just another fantastic misdirect, because it further set up, because someone even says, I don't know if it was the princess or what, but she's like, that's, whatever's coming isn't.
Yeah.
It's neither
Totally.
animal, beast, or man, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And then oh gosh.
This fucking movie is so good.
And then he gets so we talked about this before, but he gets cursed or whatever, and there's just so much shit flying at him, and it's terrifying. And there's a point where it goes close on him, and his eyeballs move like his
Really?
like he's I mean and it's just kind of like that, and his eyeballs are moving and then they kind of roll up a little bit and almost like, and you get this sense that there's slugs behind his eye, and it was like I was like, oh my god, and it's split second, but his eyes could just kind of go, and it's like, and you can see them kind of shake.
That's
It's
awesome.
so freaking horrifying. And then it, oh my gosh, and then yeah, oh, and then he and then he's digging through the like ball pit, like McDonald's ball pit of fucking slugs to get her, and I was like, oh my gosh, and he almost gets her and he gets kicked off, and I was like probably audibly was like, son of a bitch. And then he gets her and goes underwater with her, and there was something so emotional about just the actual animation of him just grabbing her underwater so tightly, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my god, this fucking movie.
It's really great. It's really great.
I just like thinking about like I need to look up how much that box set is.
Yeah.
Compared to like per movie, how much you're saving, because I'd rather just get the box set so I can have it.
Yeah.
Because I've loved every movie, and I'm like super want to revisit. Like, this is the thing about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to revisit every single movie we've done.
I totally agree.
Like, even Hal's, which out of all of them has been my least favorite. I'm very eager to watch it again.
And I desperately want to watch like Porco Rosso and and Totoro, but like really Porco Rosso. I really want to see. That was Michael Keaton.
Really?
Is the pig like kind of adventure. It's amazing.
That's crazy.
And then it like starts raining the Stay Puft. I mean the Pillsbury Doughboy little guys. Like it starts raining their bodies. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, like what a set. They've set that up, and it's so good. There's thousands of them.
I loved when like they showed 3 of them. She goes when she's saving Ashikata by the lake. She goes and cuts the plant.
Which plant? Oh, okay.
She goes and cuts the plant off to put in his mouth or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And she runs over and she cuts it, and then she runs away. And it's just a quick shot, but there's little Katunda things, and they're like right around the plant. Yeah. And they just look at where she cut the plant.
Yeah.
And they're like, you cut that plant.
Yeah.
And I just thought, and they linger on it for just like an extra second. Yeah. And I was just like,
it's great.
And at this point, the movie is just in full force of like working for me. That all these little moments, I'm just like, God, that's so fucking great. It's great that you did that.
Yeah. It's fantastic. That it turns into a big giant slimy. Yeah, they lock because then the forest spirit, and she shoots it through the head and goes, oh, and you go, oh fuck, and then it goes, I'm okay, and then you're like, cool, and then what a terrific, because then she's like,
shot again, and
she's about to get him, and then Taka throws the thing and gets her, and you go, yes, and then she goes, nope, shoop, blam, kills it, its head falls off. The animation on all this is amazing. You go, oh shit, and then it turns into the fucking Stay Puft, you fucked up monster or whatever, and it's just gigantic, and this huge tar monster again, and just and you're just like, oh my gosh, we're all dead, blah 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 blah, and then everything's going crazy, they blah 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 blah, and this is the point. This is the only issue I have with the whole movie, but it is the ending, and that is the problem.
Too neat.
So it got shot, it was fine, it got its head lopped off, and it seemingly died. They go through a lot of stuff, blah 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 blah, but then they finally eke it out at the very end. It goes down and goes bloop, and it's just a beautiful. Like it just goes, blow. And then a silent cut to everyone watching it in the lake, just kind of going, and it was hilarious to me, really funny, like purposely so. It was fantastic because they go, I guess it's over, you know. It's really good. Yeah. But then he gets it and he sucks it back up, comes back, or whatever, and then they're like, but the sun's coming up, blah 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 blah, and then it's like, okay, but it's fine. I go, is that its head? Yeah, it's got its head. Everything's fine. Oh shit, and it falls and just breaks over everything and dies, and you go, no. And then everything regrows, and everything is fine. And everyone is okay.
Well, I took it as it didn't fall over. it chose. That's how I took it.
Chose to what? Because I thought it just didn't make it in time. And then,
I never thought that. I thought it did make it. It got its head. I thought it got. It reattached its head, and then the only way to completely undo the damage that was done was to self-sacrifice. That's how I took it. So it was an intentional thing he needed to regain all his power, as it were, with his head, and then he sacrificed himself. But then
to regrow what he had killed.
Yes.
Being the black slime monster?
Well, just like, I mean, you look at everything. I mean, like the whole countryside gets regrown and everything. And she's like, it's so sad that he'll never come back. He's like, but he is here. And he's in the life and then in nature.
Okay.
I don't know. That's how I took it on the first watch.
That makes sense.
That
makes sense, but I don't. That's interesting because I did not get that.
And it was definitely in the cut where they cut to his head, kind of comes up like a brachiosaurus, and then you think he's falling, but then when it cuts to Irontown, like looking down, he enters frame, and it looks like he's like specifically going to it. He's not fall because I thought he was falling too.
But he went gong. I mean, he fell.
I need to rewatch it.
Well, I mean, honestly, what you just said is the only thing that makes any sense. But I didn't there was nothing to me that told me that. So that's interesting.
Because I thought he was doing it to put the fire out. That's how I took it. He was putting the fire out first, so he could save as like a little olive, branch to humanity. He was gonna put that out.
Was there a fire? I thought there was just black going everywhere. There was a fire?
Because they were like, if that fire keeps, like even a character says, if the urn keeps burning or whatever it was called, it's gonna ruin everything.
But what they meant was that their way of life was they weren't gonna be able to make iron. So he was gonna save the iron industry.
Are you sure?
I thought so, because because what he was interested in renewing was the countryside, not their village, right?
Because he doesn't. Yeah.
Because to me, it just
that all happened so I'll need to watch that again.
Well, and that's the thing is that to me, I mean, yours is satisfying. It was a self-sacrificing thing, but I don't see I don't see the moment where that decision was made or where it happened. Because to me, he fell over and died again.
Yeah, that's
and
a completely different ending.
And I was like, oh shit! But then it just goes, everything's fine anyway. And I was like, well, you just completely undid the stakes of what you were setting up.
That's why I refuse.
Well, it can't be.
It's got to be some maybe combo of the two, because
to me, because to me there was no indication of that second thing. But I'll watch it again.
I'm gonna read. Oh no. Okay. After the samurai flee and Irontown is evacuated, Ashitaka and San pursue Jigo and retrieve the head, returning it to the forest spirit. The spirit dies as the sun rises, but its form washes over the land and heals it. And Ashitaka's curse is lifted.
Okay.
Ashitaka stays to help rebuild the Irontown, but promises San he will visit it. Yeah, so you're correct.
Well, but so are you, because
it's both, but it's not motivated.
Yeah.
Which to me does change it.
And to me, it
doesn't lessen it to me, but I did like
the sacrifice.
I liked the sacrifice.
Well, and that's what I was waiting for. Something like that.
Yeah.
I was waiting for some sort of, because I was sure one of them was going to die. I was sure, because there's so much pent up emotion, so much tension there, that I was like, someone's going to die, and it's going to be, and like maybe everyone's going to die. I was ready, they were just like, no, the whole fucking thing is fucked. And the whole thing is not
cautionary tale,
exactly.
Yeah, right.
And not even, and it wouldn't even necessarily have been, depending on how they did it, like I hit you over the head, don't fuck up the environment thing. It just would have been like, so it happens, man. And that would have stuck with me. And I would have been like, dang, what a good, yep. And that is, and
that would have been pretty crazy.
And that would have been, and I would have been like, the movie was preparing me for that the whole time. That is not unearned. But what happened was it fell over and died. And I guess the washing over, but I didn't even get that. I just kind of was like, it died. And then everything was okay anyway.
But it died. If you think about it this way, its death made so if it's not motivated, it's almost it kind of becomes a little bit even more interesting because Lady Abashi takes it as self-sacrifice. That's what made me think that.
What is she?
She says she addresses it in a line of dialogue. She's like, they saved us. And that's what motivates her to, he's like, we must rebuild, but also, you know, she's like,
yes,
but we need to do it a different way.
And so,
which is why that had to happen that way. But like, I almost like the idea that it was accidental, but actually, I don't like it.
So I don't like, because that's the thing is that there's no, like, to me, the whole thing, there's an in the moment thing, like he was dying because his sun was coming up, so he fell and
I mean,
spread
that's how I
across
took it. So maybe it is a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. He
But
knew
to
he was
me-
going to die anyways, so he...
Well, even...
I don't know, but... I don't know.
To me, the whole thing is like... To me, whatever it is, then to me, then the ending is... the whole thing is save the forest spirit. Save the forest spirit. Kill the forest spirit. Save the forest spirit. Save the forest. Save the forest. Save the forest spirit. We all have to save the forest. And then you go like, da 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 da. Oh my gosh, we failed. We failed. We failed. Oh no, we got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. No, we still failed. It died. Boom. Oh, we would have been fine either way. And I just kind of was like, oh, and then because it died and the thing, and it just digitally regrows all the stuff. I say digitally, just a bit like, I mean, it was digital animation, but sorry. But it just, everything just regrows. And then Minnie Driver goes, I'm going to mend my ways. And I was like, don't. Because it just like, because she in that moment.
But that's for her.
Because she saw that nature was pretty and that regrowing was pretty.
No. Because, hold on. I'm working this out.
Because she felt remorse for what she had done. Because
there's no other way to take it than she believes that the forest spirit saved them. She says it. She says it. She says it in the sub.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on.
So intentional or not, but I think Ken's right. Like, I think it's, I know I'm going to die. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to play this out in the best way possible.
Still a failure because now the stakes are raised. The forest spirit can't save them again. Well, okay. Well, then that becomes more of a like, okay, but don't fuck it up this time kind of thing, which I think is.
But you must amend your ways, which is what that's the lesson she learns that it's not, because she doesn't want to kill the forest. She wants to ensure the survival of her people at any cost.
Yeah.
That's her arc. So what she learns is that there has to be some, like, not yet reached, but some sort of balance, and something has to be altered. That's what I liked about the ending, is the fact that it's not treat the environment correctly, get out of its way,
it's
don't
balanced.
come back here. It's like, that's never going to happen.
Sure.
That will never happen.
Sure.
So we have to find a way to find balance.
Yeah.
And it's not even an optimistic.
It's
I
just a
didn't
matter.
take it as,
It's just a matter of fact.
I was just like, this is the only way it's going to work, which to me was both profound and utterly simple at the same time.
Sure.
But those things usually are.
Sure.
But you got me thinking about it, so I'm going to want to go back and watch that ending a little bit closer.
So I like what you're saying. Cold Blood, and I like what you're saying about balance. But to me, it just didn't. It wrapped up very quickly, and she had a change of heart completely. Fun Buster Lad, thank you for the follow.
But I didn't take her change of heart as a change. To me, knowing that I never believed she wanted to destroy the forest.
But she knew what she was doing.
It was in that single-minded drive of I must do anything at any cost to ensure the safety and survival of my people. I think there was just a shift, not a complete 180, but just shift in thinking to know I need to ensure the survival of my people because I care about my people and I love my people, but I can't be as cold as I have in the past about it. In terms of the effects that it has on the environment and boars and things like that's what I took out.
But
of
then
it.
she's
but then one more removed from that is the fact of the ending to me is still hopelessly uncertain because this movie has a firm grasp on humanity and the fallibility of humanity. So it's up to them to, and I think that's a line too. It's like, it's up to us to make sure that blah, blah, blah.
I know.
But it's like, it is up to you, but will you do it?
So
It's almost hopelessly kind of depressing because it's that's an impossibility.
Sure.
To maintain an equal balance forever.
So
it wasn't a happy ending to me.
I mean,
a realistic ending and positing a question.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, and I hear what you guys are saying, and I can see, I can see where you can draw those conclusions. To me, it was both too laid out and not enough laid out. Like where I wasn't sure what had happened, and then to me, the way it read, rightly or wrongly, was boom, boom. It's okay anyway. And then she goes, and then then they have this sort of expositionary dialogue where she goes, she just sort of like, this is what just happened. Like she goes, even if all the trees grow back, it won't be his forest. The great forest spirit is dead. And then he goes, no, he's not dead. He's right here trying to tell us something. And I'm like, okay, this is getting very like, here comes a lesson. And then it cuts to her and she goes, I've been doing it wrong. And I get what you're saying, but like to me, I didn't get that it was a sacrifice. And so I didn't get that she got that it was a sacrifice. And then she goes, like for her, because she had been single-mindedly, mercilessly going after the head of that thing. And I just don't buy, because she's a brilliant woman, I don't buy that she was like, look, he wants me to do this to be allied against the samurais, I guess. Was that why? What was she going to get out of, because she wanted the head because because Billy Bob Thornton wanted the head, because the monk guy wanted the head. So that's what she was doing. She was getting the head for him. Like that's it. And he wanted the head to get the forest out of the way so that he could pillage the land and build the whole thing up. And I guess she wanted that eventuality too. So she wanted to plunder the forest.
She did. She wanted to plunder the forest because the forest had attacked her repeatedly, and then but the forest were attacked because they were burning areas around
but she was
town. So it's always that cause and effect thing,
right?
But so who's to blame?
Because she was
initially, well, she is, because she's the one who started it, but she retaliated specifically against the forest and the forest people and whatnot because of Mononoke.
Right. And she's like, they're bothering me, they're whatever, and we're killing them and blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, I want to, but to me, like she was essentially a mercenary. She was going to get that thing. And to me,
I think she was going to get that thing maybe, for
to
him.
have a fruitful relationship with that guy.
Well, I think he said she owes him.
But she can.
I think that's what it was. She had a debt.
That's not strong enough for me, because she kicks the shit out of anyone who comes at her.
But it is strong enough in the sense that she had a debt that needed to be repaid, and then for her, if she can just kill this forest creature, then that's gonna put an end to
the forest. She's got to know that.
No, to the cognizance of the forest.
Oh yeah, she says that they'll be stupid
animals again, and she won't have to be in battle anymore. So then it's like, her justification is, I need to do this so I can stop fighting. Because everyone's pissed at us and they keep attacking us, and it keeps endangering not only my people, but it's prolonging the war, which she is correct about. Yeah. But the war started because she was there in the first place.
Totally. And so that, like, and here's the thing where that
doesn't solve the ending though.
But that sort of ambivalence thing at the beginning, that's where that kind of weakens this for me, because I go, right, supposedly she cares about her people. To me, I didn't read it that way because of the way it read, where it was like,
and that's what's so crazy to me about the difference in the dub versus the sub, because
she's
that
using them
was everything for me.
Because she's using them to get tools to me, she was using them to get tools to have military superiority and conquer everything.
And I took it as
she
it
genuinely
was that,
cares.
but specifically using women and prostitutes and showing them the power, and that they're not weak, and that they don't have to go through life scared. Like it read, and it's same for lepers. Like it read
So I'd be interested.
It's a completely different read for me.
Yeah.
And I can see why, because that happened so early on,
Yeah.
like within the first half hour.
Yeah.
That like that just lingers in the back of your brain for the rest of the movie. That was a huge part of the movie.
It
for
is.
me, in terms of how I viewed her character.
Yes, and it was for me too.
So that's-
but in a different way.
yeah.
So I'd be very interested to see
I would be
what you thought of the dub.
and I would watch the sub. Yeah.
And but so the thing is, and I mentioned earlier that I was like, maybe they made it ambivalent on purpose to make it more interesting, but that's a misstep for me then. If they did it on purpose and I didn't somehow crazily mistake it, because they did make it ambivalent on purpose just to have it be interesting, that is risky, because then you compromise her entire character arc, because you go, is she or is she, whatever,
Yeah,
and then you
right.
go, all she's interested, because she cast them off. The people die, and she goes, let them die, they're dead. Then later she goes, I've helped them as much as I can. We're going for the head. That's all I want is the head, so that I can get this dude and he'll help me, and I get rifles, and I conquer the world. They say at one point she wants to conquer the world, and she's like, ha 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 ha. And then at the last minute, this thing goes, I'm dead, falls over. The thing that she fucking killed 2 minutes ago, it dies, and she goes, I'm rethinking my whole worldview. I was wrong. Just seeing the forest regrow to what it was a minute and a half ago makes her go, I need to not destroy the forest anymore. I'm going to continue to make iron, which absolutely compromises the forest in a way that doesn't compromise the forest. And I just go, what? She flipped. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And you're just to me, it's just wrapping it up going, take care of the forest. She even learned how to take care of the forest.
But she didn't say take care of the forest. She said find. It was whatever her phrasing was. It was about finding balance.
I get that, and that is a
which is why it makes such an uncertain claim in the first
yeah.
place. Of like, there's a hopeful optimism to it, but it's also, is it naive? Is it like you get? That's what's so cool about it, is like, to me, it reads as a hopeful line.
Yes.
But subtext wise, and why I think they did it that way,
yeah.
is that it's like, well, we'll have them both ways. Well, to someone who's not going to dig into this,
yeah.
it can read that way, like a hopeful, optimistic line. But I think the undercurrent can also play on a that's never going to work type. Like, you can read a bunch of different ways depending on how you viewed the characters throughout the film,
yeah.
and your interpretation of it. That's why I think this movie is fucking awesome. I still want to know, though.
Yeah.
Like, that line does not bother me at all. I
Sure.
think it's actually a very smartly written line that you can read in a couple different ways. I don't even think... I wonder if you were to ask them, can this mean multiple things?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the intent? Because I think it is.
Sure.
But that I want to know... I want to go back, and I really want to dig into the... Because you're right, like... If he just died because of the sun, that's different to me. Because then it's like, oh, if he had died... we didn't need the last 20 minutes.
Right. And this, it just undercuts all of it, because they were trying to save the spirit the whole fucking time, and it didn't matter. Because
killing him, you would have got the same ending.
And yes. And then they go and then they like, what's fucking...
That's why I took, because well, here's the thing. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
I took it as a conscious thing, because when he's like, he's in jelly, Stay Puft form, they say repeatedly, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Because you'll die.
Yeah.
And then when he crashes over everything at the end, he gives life to everything.
Right.
So that's why I took it as like, oh, this is a final moment of cognizance.
I wish they
intentionally somehow...
I wish they'd showed his head look or something.
I think they did.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong though,
but
because I know what you're.
But that is such a pivotal thing, though, that I feel like you need to not be ambivalent about it or ambiguous about it. And then the thing is, like, because to me, like, a couple things, like, and I'm sorry, I'm trying, I'm trying to hash it up, but like,
I'm reading what they're saying.
Because she goes, yeah, like,
they're not saying anything.
Because she goes, because even if her ending point is, let's find a way to coexist and try to do it in balance, right?
Say that again.
Even if Minnie Driver's ending point is, oh, I need to amend what I'm doing and find a way to do this in a way that is balanced and doesn't destroy the forest completely, but still gives me what I want. That is basically going from 2 minutes earlier and the entire film fucking balls to the wall, killing the fucking forest to let it just be a fucking forest that without any sentience or whatever. Then he dies, which is what she was trying to do anyway. Everything is reset and the forest didn't die. And that makes her then revert past everyone else to the most reasonable and kind person in the film, who is our main character, who was saying balance the whole time. Like, she's just like, because that's what he was saying. Why can't we live?
That's why I think it was intentionally sacrificial, because she says that at the end. She's like, because like they saved us.
But I thought she was talking about them, the kids.
Oh, was she?
I thought so.
I can't remember. I thought it was a more universal, but maybe not.
Because I thought, because they did save him.
You might be
They
right.
handed him the fucking head. They saved them. Because you're right. I think it is they saved him.
Yeah.
And they did it. And she's like, cool, I like that kid now, so I'm going to try to mine my iron ore in a way that doesn't whatever. And regardless, it goes boom, boom, boom. He's dead, it's fine. And then they try to rebuild, then they try to kind of retroactively build in stakes where she goes, but he's dead now, it's not going to be his forest. And then he's like, nah, it's still him. He's still around. And I go, well, what the fuck? So it's the spirit.
But it's not him. It's him in terms of like the flowers are him. And
but so what we miss is the big gelatinous dude and the fucking deer that goes, "Meh." Like, who gives a fuck? The spirit's still there.
They did.
Yeah. I don't know. And then hold on.
I can't. I've got to go.
Sure.
No, like I'm peaked. I need to get some food in me.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you guys.
Okay. I love it. I
hate to cut it so abruptly.
No, you got it.
But I'm getting to Shaky Town.
Yeah. It just turned into the same thing that it happened at Howl's, where it was like happy ending real quick.
Yeah.
And Kiki's, where it goes weird happy ending, wrap things up.
Bye, guys. Tell them what we're doing next week.
I will. Are we still doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Which one are we? Well, just text me and tell me which one we're doing.
We'll do that.
But no, I'm super stoked for that.
Okay,
it's gonna be awesome.
That is gonna be awesome. That is gonna be really awesome.
It's gonna be. I'm like really excited.
It's totally 370 degrees from this, which is awesome.
It's gonna be great.
Give me 1 second, guys. I will come back and talk to you more. I'm gonna make sure Jeff is okay. He's gonna punch me in the face.
I'm gonna die.
Oh, Jeff is good. He just is really.
I haven't had dinner, and I
eat.
had a kind of productive day.
Yeah.
And so I need some food.
All right, I'll be back. I'm gonna put on some music. I will be back. All right, guys. Love you. Thank you. Regardless, besides that, I really like the movie. I really, really like the movie.
Well, that's a very. I'm glad you brought that up. I still love that movie. Like, it doesn't ruin it.
It's 3 out of 5 because that's my thing, is that the ending is such an important thing for me, and that's 3 out of 5 where I've been into the movie, and then at the ending, I mean, like Kiki I love, but I have issues with kind of throughout. But Howl's and this kind of the ending goes bloop, and it just sort of kind of wraps up too quickly and sort of unsatisfactorily. Spirited Away is still my top by far, but this was so close and very, very beautiful. All right, I'll be back.